4 weeks down and 6 to go on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club in our 15th season of competition. Of course, this is night 1 of week 5 of term 4 of 2023. And we're better than Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, the famed Road America circuit, one of the greats on the calendar, one of our favourites on the tour. And it's hosting not 1, but 2 races on the program tonight. Yes, the entire bill comes to you from this 6.5 kilometre mecca of motorsport. It is first up, Player One Sim Gear Super 3 into the Waste Options GT3 Championship and the AM split there for you tonight. So we're bringing you the second tier across the board on this edition of Monday Night Motorsport across the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Caban. Adam Wavis is here as well. And so too off the top is Pete Matson, and we'll get to him in just a moment. Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, 6.5 kilometres this circuit. The ambient temperature currently sitting on 19 degrees. The track temperature 21 degrees. We're at 8:05 in the morning. We're in the closing stage of the qualifying session. We will obviously have a look at the updated track and weather server conditions once the clock ticks over into race trim in just a few moments' time. Off the top, Orbic Australia's own Pete Matson joins us, mate. Good evening to you. This is a surprise.
Yeah, it's just as much for you as it was for me. I was actually looking at the live broadcast and all of a sudden I'm in there. So, yeah, boom.
A nice opportunity to put yourself at the pointy end of town and hopefully play a part in the outcome tonight, mate, and in the entertainment that we're set to experience here over the course of the next 25 minutes, at least for the Super 3 series. There are the championship standings on your screen at the moment. Aidan Schultz, 155. Bradley Curtin, 133. Aaron Bryan, 132. Lachlan Hewitt, 129. And, of course, Damien Taylor on 115 points. So very, very tightly bunched, top end of town at the moment. What's that? 40 points covering the top 5, and there are still 6 rounds to go. Pete, without giving anybody a spoiler alert, you've managed to slot yourself up into 9th position after qualifying, mate. Not a bad run.
Yeah, no, great run, and you should see some awesome racing tonight. The boys race really clean, and yeah, lots of experience on the track as well. So I love this track, so I can't wait. So expect me to move up from 9th.
And how are you adjusting? How are you feeling? It's still somewhat of a weird, strange scenario for me, at least, to rock up here on a Monday night and have supercars first cab off the rank and not GT4. That was a total change of the guard, mate. It became like an old comfy pair of jeans, a normal processional, format on a Monday night to roll out of GT4 into GT3. It's a very different kettle of fish now.
Absolutely, we've shaken it up. Look at the attendance. You know, there's 30 cars here. So Monday night's the night to race. That's what it tells me. Doesn't matter what we're racing, but we're in the V8s, and I think that's a real Aussie thing. So, yeah, looking forward to the race.
I think that means we need to make Formula V the main course on a Monday night, but we'll have that discussion at another point in time. Good on you, Pete. Go well, mate.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. So let's have a look at the grid there. Justin Witcher and also Bradley Curtin the front row. Greg Brooks, Jason Scollier the second row. Then Michael Fraser, Corey Brand the third. Tony Roffey and Dale Jeffries the fourth. Pete Matson and Greg Spencer the fifth. 8 o'clock in the morning, 19 degrees the ambient, 22 on track. Early start at Road America. Aidan Schultz and Mark Foster from the 6th row. Grant Gilray Morgan the 7th. Nigel Patton, Aaron Bryan the 8th. Then Brendan Griffiths and Tristan Koch the 9th. And Steve Cowling and Adam Johnson the 10th. Outside the top 20, we go back to Dimitri Kolbach and Justin Cotter from row 11. Good on you, Justin. Nice to have you on board. Bevan Moyes and Phil King the 12th. Matthew George and Matthew Beale the 13th. And then, of course, Jared Gilbert's there in the service. So too Marty Mitchell and Shane Newens, but they didn't set a time in qualifying. So I'll be starting from the back of the grid. Jamie Budds, of course, in race control for us. So we're getting ready to rock and roll. Player One Sim Gear Super 3. Our first look at Super 3 since round 1 when it was a combined all-in tug of war. And, of course, it was just an absolute cluster because we had too many drivers and not enough positions on the grid. This time round with a split championship, we get a chance to have a look at the Super 3 boys this week and next week for you, ladies and gentlemen. And in between that, I've got a trip to Perth and back to look forward to as well. Should have a start any tick of the clock. They're in the starters' hands, all boxed and ready. Once the red lights go on, the revs will rise, the cars will roar, and we'll get underway for the 5th round of 10 in the championship. Monday Night Motorsport from Wisconsin. Let's go. Uh-oh, trouble on the grid. Car stalled. And that's just going to balk the pack and back them up. There's trouble. Uh-oh. I was just about to say, as I welcome in Adam Lavis and say good evening to you, I was just about to say, watch out for the carnage because there's always trouble. A real distinct possibility on the opening lap at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Adam, good evening to you.
Yeah, it's one of those things with the supercars. If you either don't start the motor or don't have it in gear and you've got your revs up, it takes forever because the weird thing is with the iRacing, you've got to get back down to idle before you get in the first gear. So if you forget to plug the gear before you start your sequence, you're a sitting duck.
You're toast. And now that's obviously impacted. It was Ray Morgan that had impacted most.
Oh!
Whoa, trouble, car on the grass and gone. This could be more trouble than it is. Evasive action had to be taken there by Pete Matson. He had nowhere to go. And the cars scattered everywhere. Oh. Somehow, so much of that field managed to get through unscathed, and I'm not terribly sure how. Uh-oh, more trouble because we've got the Player 1 Sin Gear entry pointing the other way.
That's
with the rubbing tyre.
Championship leader. Oh,
boy. So let's try and pick it apart and show you the war of attrition already here. Corey Brand's down 10 spots. Pete Matson 14, Ray Morgan 10, Michael Fraser 22. Aidan Schultz down 18 positions at the moment. Welcome to Road America. Welcome to high drama, high action, and hopefully later, despite the drama here. Oh, Justin Witcher's gone! Justin Witcher! From pole, from hero to zero. Down to 30 goes.
And he's running wide, luckily. He's
run it wide and he's dropped 2 spots.
Look at this guy who won't be mentioned.
Oh, have a look at Gilly. And have a look at the damage on some of these cars already. There will be a splash and dash requirement. There will be a fast repair available to these blokes. They're going to need it. 2:15 off the bat for Bradley Curtin. Oh my goodness, bloody gracious me. What a start. I must admit, Adam, my mind's very much on Perth and everything that's coming up there later in the week. I can't wait to get over there for the Hyundai XL Nationals, but knowing that we had Road America to look forward to tonight, it was just one of those nights where you knew that no matter how burnt on the energy front you were, the adrenaline that you get from just watching racing at Road America in the first place was going to be enough to pull us through. Lap 2, it's a 25-minute race, same scenario as what we would bring you in Super 2. We'll get out of this server, we'll reset, we'll regroup, and we'll bring you the YAM split from the GT3 series and their first 90-minute enduro of the season. We are at the midway point of the championship. Once we're done here, round 5 down, 5 to go. It's a vitally important round for so many reasons. Both the championships that we're featuring tonight. Colbatch getting by into 13th. Let's have a look at the carnage again. Oh, Dale Jeffries. We've got him on shot here for the replay first up. He had nowhere to go. And once that happened, it backed the rest of the pack up. There was more contact where that came from. There were some big winners out of all of that. I haven't detailed them yet. Mark Foster up 6 spots. Aaron Bryan up 9. Grant Gill up 4. Brendan Griffiths up 7. Bevan Moyes up 11. Great to see Bevan back at the third.
How was the launch for the 617 then?
Yeah, and poor old Ray Morgan just got turned by that car that did score and eventually got going. Shane Ewan's up 15 spots, so not setting a time in qualifying is actually worked to his advantage. No doubt about that. 4 games for Justin Potter, 6 for Marty Mitchell. Off goes Matthew George. That means Marty Mitchell moves up to 22nd. That's happening live. That was Aidan Schultz, unfortunately, with nowhere to go, with that pirouetting car from the inside of the circuit, collecting him on the outside down at turn 5. And he took Pete Matson with him. And this was Witcher down at Canada, another trigger point on the circuit. Another corner fraught with danger. And this is one of those circuits where it promises, it provides such great racing, such great drama, such tremendous overtaking opportunities. But it's so bloody fraught with danger if you no further action on the race starts. So that's interesting from race control that they've just put that in the we're not even going to bother trying to pick that apart basket. Not the first time we've seen no further action in relation to a race start in the last 7 days from that race control. We'll have a chat to them a little bit later on. Poor old Jamie Battle will be having kittens in there at the moment. What's interesting, Grant Gill having a look down on the inside. Oh, trouble! Jeez, more drama. The Sharp EIT car's gone and he's taken Gilly with him. That was Dale Jeffries. Oh, the night goes from bad to worse for Dale. And poor old Grant, nowhere to go. I saw Dale going. And it was just slow motion train wreck type stuff. You knew it was going to happen, you just didn't know when. Or how bad it was going to be. Let's have a look at it again. Gill's got back on the circuit, but he's dropped down to 19th. Dale was wide on the exit of 5. That allowed Grant the opportunity to head down the inside, but he'd already rescinded on that. And Dale's got it crossed up, collected the wall, and bounced straight back into Grant. So there's no further action with Michael Fraser either, just quietly there. Thanks to Race Control for the update on that. At 6 minutes, 17 seconds gone. More drama here. This is live. Brendan Griffiths moves up into 8th spot. But a car moving slowly behind him. Might be, is it Fraser? Fraser's dropped down 17 spots now. And Corey Brand's dropped down recently in the last few moments as well. And we've got a car that's just got on the tow rope to pit lane, and that was Justin Witcher, which is parked up for the night. Now, what the hell has happened there, please? Because Witcher was third, despite his run wide at Canada. Need to get to the bottom of it. So much going on. Only we don't have a Channel 7 mega wall, ladies and gentlemen. He's driven into pit lane. He's driven into pit lane and parked up. That's one of the more obscure departures from a race I've seen in recent times. Now look at Griffiths. Griffiths all over the back of Aaron Bryan and Greg Spencer here. Spencer under all sorts of pressure and has been passed by Griffiths. Oh boy. Good to see Griffiths with the Tony Longhurst tribute going on there. Anyone that watched, whoa, boy, Bevan Moyes barely got away with that. Up around the outside of Griffiths at turn 7. Also sporting the Tony Longhurst tribute. Anyone that watched the 1998 FIO 1000 will know exactly what I'm talking about. Such drama, such attrition early here. Not unsurprising, not unexpected. This is Road America after all. It rewards bravery but punishes anything that resembles a mistake, be it an off-track excursion, be it contact, be it a spin, a driver error, a misjudgment. You just pay the price so severely around here. It's America's answer to Mount Panorama. 10-second penalty, more cars off the road. Corey Brand this time. He's got company there in the form of, I think that's Marty Mitchell. Have a look at it again. Oh, okay, so Gilbert got in on this as well at the start. Uh-oh, 3 wide down, yeah. And Gilbert just lost the brakes. It looks as though he's had a monumental brake failure there. $15 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Gill down on the inside of Cowling. Moves up into 15th place. Just having a look at those that have already transited the lane as well, Adam, to give everybody an idea of the critical number around here. And remembering that we should get somewhere in the vicinity of 12 laps tonight in this race with a transit down pit lane as well. Off goes Tony Roffey just as we're watching the leader in Bradley Curtin. He's got Jason Scholar and Greg Brooks for company. Brooks with the fastest lap of the race, 2:05.789. Yes, after all the drama that's unfolded behind these blokes, they've been able to give themselves some breathing space over the rest of the pack, and they've somewhat gone unnoticed, uncovered until now. And we're 10 minutes into the race. 2:05.7 and 1 second the margin between the top three at the moment. Now, looking beyond that, we've already seen Dale Jeffries come to the lane on lap 3. Corey Brand on lap 4, Tristan Koch still there. There was a 56-second stop for Pete Matson, so that's unfortunate for Pistol. And that was his... was that first and only stop for Pete? Yes, it was. So... he must have got a stop and hold of some description. Aiden Schultz off track at the moment. He's already been to pit lane as well. So too has Matthew Beale. Justin Mitchell and Jared Gilbert. Well, Mitch is parked up for the night. Gilbert may as well. He's Colbatch now in 13th place. Overtaken around the outside by Adam Johnson. Nice driving from Adam Johnson. And this is the thing. You can afford to take risks around here. You can afford to go against the grain. So many times we will see overtakes occur on that dirty part of the real estate, on the outside.
Interesting end of the week last week. So in the IndyCar race around the oval, he actually led. I think it was like 73 of the 125 laps. He had a cracking night. But I think it was the second last stint, he just dropped the wheel below the line and had a half spin and lost about 10 seconds. Yep. And it sort of took him out of that leading battle. And then, but then I think he still ended up second for the night, so he still got a good podium result out of it. And then he went from that to at the Mountain Men in the big burly Arca Menards. They were a bit of a handful, and he was having some troubles. And after 32 laps, he ended up with 93 incident points. Actually,
wow.
it's just one of those guys.
That's a bit too bad.
It was a very tricky car to drive. The boys were having a bit of a shocker trying to keep it on track. So, but yeah, it was one of those nights. It was very tough, but rewarding if you get it right in those Arca Menards.
As was predicted would be the case when we spoke to Trucker about it on Thursday night. Off goes Phil King at this point in time. Off-track alerts popping up left, right and centre on my screen at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. 12 and a half minutes gone, 12 and a half to go. We're on lap 6 of what we suspect will be a 12-lapper here from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Yeah. Unlucky. Tribute throwback testimonial. Oh, no more trouble now! That's live! That is live! Tony Roffey! And it's a multi-car wreck! He's taken Shane Ewens and Adam Johnson with him. That is a monumental moment. They've all got to be careful with their rejoins there, because that is such a fast, fraught with danger part of the racetrack, especially on the approach to the braking at Canada Corner. Car-to-car contact. Ewens was trying to get by on the outside, and Roffey shut the gate. I'm not sure he was aware that he was there, to be honest. Oh boy. And how lucky was Gilly? Didn't get away completely unscathed, but it could have been a lot worse. There's Adam Johnson. Watch his... Bang. Yep. The door slammed closed firmly in his face. He just ran out of room to go and move. Oh boy. Well, if you wanted carnage, you've come to the right place tonight, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt about that. Jason Scholar's dropped off the battle for the lead at the moment. It's Curtin and Brooks, and then a second back to Scholar. Foster is a lonely fourth ahead of Brian, Spencer, Gill, Patton, Morgan King, and Moyes. So my apologies. When I'm not sure if that was Gilly or not, to be honest with you. I think so, but I'm
pretty sure it was. It was Gilly got through that coach. Yeah.
It's more so because so many pit stops have unfolded that battle was outside the top 10. But with so many people coming in at the end of lap 6 there, including Devon Moyes, up 12 spots on where he started, including, of course, Mitchell, Cowling, Colbatch, also Roffey and Johnson. It's just throwing the order out a little bit there. Oh, dear. Sneaky VE on Facebook or no Twitch. Sorry, my apologies. And just have a look at the comment on the right hand side of the screen. Needed knee surgery after joining us on Saturday night. Such was the drama there. There's a 15-second penalty for Shane Newlands, and let's be honest, that's hardly surprising. Given the car-to-car contact that caused that 3-car wreck. Now, have a look at this. This is Brendan Griffiths in 13th place, and he's alongside Dale Jeffries in 14th. Jeffries trying to get back down on the inside, and Griffiths around the outside. Moves up into 13th. Nicely done. Curtin and Bryan to pit lane. Brooks, Scholar, Foster, Spencer, Gill, Patton, Morgan, and King yet to stop. We're getting to the business end. We're getting to the crunch point. That critical lap where you've successfully run the tank dry, and now the task is to get home. And to try and get home unscathed. I'm just getting a score alert for an AFLW match for some reason. So there is some live Monday Night Football unfolding by the sounds of it. Let me just have a look at that and see if that is correct. Having a complete another wobbly, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the Cricket World Cup underway as well. So I will get to go around the grounds for you a little bit later on tonight. No, Google is having a complete another wobbly. Yeah, no, my apologies for that. Just getting a bum steer. It said Hawthorn and Richmond, and I'm like, hang on, they played Friday night. Yes, so, all right, all good. We press on here at Road America. Just pointing out that our good mate Justin Cotter is going really well at the moment, up 11 spots. There's Steve Cowling in 19th. There's Cotter in 11th. Looking the goods. No doubt about that.
Just minding his own business.
As you do. Easiest way to do it, isn't it? I mean, how many times have we said you stay out of trouble, you fly under the radar, you go unnoticed, and then all of a sudden, geez, you reap the reward at the end of the night and get our praises sung in your direction. Brooks, Scholar, Foster, Spencer, Gill, Curtin, Patton. Gill and Patton, I should say. Curtin has stopped, and Phil King yet to stop as well. Brooks and Scholar, I should say, to pit lane right now. That is at the end of lap 8.
Minding my own business was the only reason I got those 2 wings in the Porsches on Thursday, because Joe had almost a second on me in the qualifying, so.
That was good fun around the streets of Detroit, Michigan on Thursday night. Actually, all around you had a pretty good night, mate, because you had 5 clean races. So, and it's not often we get to say that, unfortunately. Back up onto the main straight.
2 weeks in a row.
Spencer in 4th place, I know. Spencer in 4th place in pit lane. He brings Grant Gill with him. The top 5 are on pit road. Curtin should resume the race lead here as
Brooks
and Scholar heads
it's actually closer than you thought.
Oh no, Brooksy, have a look at that.
Brooks to the 13.6 second stop compared to Curtin's 16.4.
And he's 2 seconds up the road. Where did that come from? Scholar now putting the pressure on. Uh-oh, that's Phil King. Another off-track moment. Go and have a look at what's going on with the Cricket World Cup for tonight too, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Australia playing the Netherlands on Wednesday. India got the better of New Zealand last night, and Pakistan batting first against Afghanistan. None for 4 after 9.1, so going along nicely at 6 and over at the moment. Follow that with interest throughout the course of the rest of the night. Here's Bradley Curtin now. In second. Pressure's going to be on Brooks to try and withstand the pressure here and maintain this 1.6 second advantage that he has. Or are we heading for another grandstand finish?
Interesting little tidbit fact. So the Pelican Racing guys, so all the guys in these liveries, right? They are pretty much all of them, probably 80% of them, are in the elite split in the main supercar series.
Yep.
But I think there's only maybe one of them who actually in Super 2. I think they're all in Super 3 this season. So it's interesting how they haven't been able to sort of convert back to the previous car with the same sort of pace they run in the current car.
Did I hear you correctly say Pelican Racing Team?
Sorry, Pacific. That's what gets me.
Yeah, well, no. I was going to say, if it was Pelican Racing Team, I didn't realise we had a team named after the Queensland company.
That's Pacific Esports.
Pacific, right, okay. Very nicely done.
Yeah, the Pelican threw me.
Yeah, no. As soon as you said it, I was like, hang on, I think this is my opportunity. No, down the main straight we go. Scholar in third place. Second is Curtin, first is Brooks. They're a little bit more spread out than what they were before the pit stop sequence here. 5 minutes to go, 3 laps to go at Road America. We're on lap 10. Off went Brandon Griffiths momentarily, but he's got back on without losing too much ground. Phil King off the track again. He's having a shocker with the off-track alert tonight, no doubt about that. 4:44 on the clock. We're watching Marty Mitchell there in 14th place. Have a look at the scoreboard next time the totem pole comes up on the left-hand side of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, at the gains and losses tonight for some of these drivers. They are extraordinary numbers. 11 for Aaron Bryan, 17 for Bevan Moyes, 11 for Justin Potter, 15 for Marty Mitchell, the best of the positives, and then the negatives, well, they speak for themselves because they've got to look all the way down to the bottom of the ladder. Surprisingly, in all of this, we've only lost 2 competitors. Only Justin Mitchell and Jared Gilbert, cars position 28 and 29, have retired so far.
Which is probably not the best thing for Schulte, because Schulte's got back going again, but he's currently 27th, which is 2 places outside the points, so that's not going to help his championship.
Not at all. I can't believe that, quite frankly. That with all the drama and all the attrition we've had, by virtue of the generosity of the fast repair that's available to them, they're actually going over. More cars still running than what I would have very much anticipated.
Bevan's had a moment, but he's got plenty of space to get going again.
Bevan Moyes at the moment. Back we go to Greg Spencer in 9th. Up the inside. Come on, Greg Spencer. Up the inside of Brandon Griffiths. Racecraft 101 at Road America. Displaces Griffiths, but Griffiths will want to hang tough and force the issue. He won't be able to, I don't think. No, because Spencer's been able to cover him off until he got torn. Great save, though. Griffiths got into the side of him, door-to-door contact, and Spencer did a magnificent job of controlling what could have been a pirouette. Instead, it's just an old-fashioned tank slapper. He loses 2 spots, but he's still in a fight. Oh, Griffiths is gone! And Spencer will consider that some good fortune of karma. Oh, we're fired up tonight. Great to have you along for the ride on the platform for the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club.
Up again.
Uh-oh, Griffiths gone. This time it's the wall. He scrapes it at the kink on the exit of the carousel. Now they're heading down towards Canada. Uh-oh. Another off-track alert, and this time it's for Bevan Moyes. 6th place. He's
inviting Grant.
In 6th.
He's inviting
in 6th.
He keeps just dangling the carrot in front of Grant here. He's got all these little off tracks he's having.
Oh dear. How good's this been? 2:15 on the clock. So next time by the line, white flag flies for Greg Brooks. Corey Brand there in 12th. All over the back of Ray Morgan. He's got Marty Mitchell, Brendan Griffiths and Nigel Patton for company. 5-way fight. And Griffiths is 14th in all of that. Try and make it 13th on the run down to turn 1. Can he displace Mitchell? Yes, he can. Nicely done. They both pinched the brakes on the inside of the right-hander. But once you're in the drafty, once you're in the slipstream, once you're in that dance rhythm, it's very hard to break it.
Well, it's
just a train.
This train's almost a full train of 9 cars. 3 little groups of 3. And they're very close to being one group of 9.
And the quiet carriages of cars 4, 5, and 6, ladies and gentlemen. Down on the inside. Corey Brand goes to 11th. Right goes Griffiths again. And that sent into the back of the queue. Back to 16th. Dale Jeffries gets by Greg Spencer again. Justin Cotter's in 10th place, trying to hold on to that at the moment for dear life. It's not the best way to do it by getting in the fight. I wouldn't have thought, Justin. He tried to go to the outside. He couldn't get it done. Now he wants it. He's on the grass. Oh, too hot into the corner. Too keen on the exit. And Cotter drops down to position number 15.
I think his entry was fine, but he just could try to get too much jandle on to try and get the crisscross done.
Oh, just extraordinary. And we're riding on board with him for the moment. Geez, we've actually been incredibly lucky tonight, and it's a testament to you, Adam Lavis. We've been in the right place at the right time for a lot of the big moments. Uh-oh. Off goes Corey Brand. Saw that coming a mile away. Oh, contact on the exit. Nothing wrong with the rejoin. It's that the car in front of him there, which I think might have been Nigel Patton, was wide on the exit of the corner, right into the line of where Brand was rejoining. Think nothing of it. Both cars are fine and soldiering on. Patton's coming to pit lane.
He might have got.
Patton's coming to pit lane.
It might have been his incident points.
Might have been.
But giving him a meatball with the rear suspension.
That's true. White flag in the air, one to go from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And there's still drama brewing on shore of it. Dale Jeffries holding on to 10th at the moment. Pass there on the inside by Ray Morgan. And Morgan, of course, chasing Spencer now. Jeffries down on the inside to turn 3. Can't get it done. And he's on the wrong side of the real estate for when they get down to 5. Straight run out of turn 3. The drag race side by side. I need to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that's the battle for 10th you're looking at. It's not the battle for the win. That's going to go to Greg Brooks at this point in time. If things stay as they are, Jeffries yields and settles into 10th. Back to the leader, Greg Brooks, about 5/8 of a lap ahead of the rest of the pack that we were watching there a moment ago. Off goes one of the back markers. That was Pete Natson, I do believe. Up onto the main straight. Greg Brooks gets the job done from 3rd to 1st at Road America. Wins round 5 of the Player One Singear V8 Challenge in Super 3. That is very nicely done. Trouble further back. Brendan Griffiths and Corey Brander off the road. There's trouble further back as they drop down now to 14th and 15th respectively. Justin Trotter moves back up to 13th. There's a car round and turn out of the corner. And Bevan Moyes narrowly avoids collecting him on the way through. Playing straight, checkered flag for the rest of the pack. We'll get to them in a moment. Here's Dale Jeffries still trying to hold on to 10. To Canada we go. He's a little bit wide on the exit, but he's okay. First went to Brooks, second to Curtin, third to Scholar, then Foster, Brian, Moyes. Gills come through in 7th. Well done, Grant. 8th will go to Spencer, then Morgan, then Jeffries. If he can hold Mitchell off on the run up the main straight up the hill to the checkered flag. Brilliant racing at Road America. They didn't disappoint tonight, and let's hope GT3 live up to that.
That was
change of position on the line. Change of position on the line. Dale Jeffries was sitting there 10th beautifully, and then it got pitched on the post by Marty Mitchell and Michael Fraser. Let's have a look at this. Did he cop and spotter? He must have done. He's been passed on the inside, and they've gone by him as though he's standing still. And Dale Jeffries drops out of the top 10. Cotter 13th, Griffiths, Brand, Johnson, Colbatch, then Roffey, King, and George. Poor boy. Unfortunately for our good mate Pete Batson, who rejoins us in central commentary at this point, not the way you would have wanted to start or finish that race, my friend. Unfortunately, an innocent bystander that had to take evasive action at turn 5 on lap 1, and you were chasing your tail from there.
Yeah, it was absolutely my own fault. I said that we had good drivers, and that was it. We jinxed the whole thing. I did. We were buggered. But there's a few drivers that need to go back to up and comers, I think.
Those shots have been fired earlier on Monday night from Pete. Very nicely done. It's only 20 past 8, Pete. Well done. No, that was somewhat frustrating, no doubt about that, because, I mean, for those at home that love carnage on the highlight reel, they've got plenty to sink their teeth into, and plenty for that reel that'll probably actually do them for the rest of the season, let's be perfectly honest. But for you guys trying to string a championship of results together, tonight was not the night to try and do it.
Nah, terrible, and not and certainly not the standard that we're normally used to. So, anyway, on to the GT3s, I reckon.
On to them indeed. We'll get there very shortly. Bradley Curtin finished second tonight behind Greg Brooks, Jason Scholar, Mark Foster and Aaron Bryan made up the top 5. Bevan Moyes, Grant Gill, Greg Spencer, Ray Morgan and Marty Mitchell made up the top 10. In the end, gentlemen, in the Super 3 Challenge, and we've got a few of the Super 2 guys standing on by here to have a chat to us, and I'm relying on Adam Lavis to bring those results to us on the screen very shortly. He's aware of that. But in the end, despite all the drama, all the chaos, all the attrition that we suspected we might have, we didn't have anywhere near as much as we thought we would, because there were more incidents than there were retirements. Matty Beale was the last of the runners to take the checkered flag in 27 of the 29 who started. The trouble occurred from the start right through until the finish. They were consistent tonight, at least, Pete. We started the carnage on lap 1 and we finished it on lap 12.
We did. But that's about all I've got to say about it, mate. I thought it was pretty ordinary.
Indeed. Hey, mate, I know you were somewhat frustrating. It was somewhat frustrating for you, and you were somewhat frustrated. But I do appreciate you stopping on by for a chat, and we look forward to catching you in action in GT3. What are your thoughts on that? Because obviously this is just a warm-up to the main course. For the first time in a while, our curtain raiser at our main course on a Monday night are at the very same venue, but now you've got to think long game rather than short. You've got to go for 90 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the only thing I have to do is to win it, right? Well, it's after such a dismal result with this. So
well, can I give you the good news?
Yeah.
We're broadcasting your split, the Yam split, tonight. So
excellent.
We're looking forward to seeing you bring your very best to the table.
All right. Thanks, Zach. See you then.
All right, go well. Good luck.
See.
Tim Nichols here, so too Nick Fodiatis from our Super 2 split. We'll get to them in just a moment. It was Greg Favell from Anthony Visma, Tim Nichols, Stephen Lawrence, Michael Hammond and Andrew Dutch, Alan Dawson, Stephen Varga, Tim Harris and Tony Baker, the top 10. And our good mate Nick was, well, actually, I'm going to go to you first, considering it's the segue here, mate. Is that a lucky or an unlucky 13th, please?
Oh, it's always lucky. Good evening, Zach.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I think it's about 38 degrees C in this computer room right now, and I've got the fan going, so I do apologise.
That's okay, mate. That's all good. It's typical summer conditions, and it's about time summer arrived. Well, that being said, I was in Orange yesterday and was reaching for the jumper because it was only 17 degrees there. So it's polar opposites in different parts of the country at the moment. But in saying that, mates, Road America, is that a box that we're happy to tick and move on from?
Next week, what do we got?
Question asked, question answered. The calendar will come up on your screen momentarily, ladies and gentlemen, and that'll let us know where we're going, of course. We will be showcasing Super 3 again next week, and if it was chaotic at Road America, I can only imagine what we're in for when we get to Circuit Park Zandvoort. And, of course, we have Motorland Aragon and Chicago Street Circuit, Sandown Motor Raceway, and Mount Panorama to finish us off for this season. And we can expect the same sort of carnage at Mount Panorama as we saw at Road America. Don't worry about that. But overall, Nick, give us a brief synopsis of the night, mate. A quick rundown of how that played out over 25 minutes for you and the team, please.
Oh, I was going to say, Greg Favell looks like he put one over the field of on Anthony Visma and Tim Nicol. But I started on the back row, avoided some carnage at the start. It wasn't big carnage, not as big as what I've just been seeing here in the replay here. And then head down, try and do consistent slow laps apparently. And then, I have a bit of a diagonal braking line into turn 5, turn 3, whatever you want to call it. And I think it caught Joshua Robertson out behind me, and then he had a rejoin and all sorts of carnage happened there. And then on the second last lap, just out of Canada Corner, there was cars everywhere across the track. I was sitting, I think, 16th. Made up a couple spots, smashed the wall. I had a good race with Dave Oliver and Mark Horton. We were just nose to tail and switching positions here and there, but overall, not too bad a race. We didn't have taxis without boot lids or bonnets around me anyway, so everything was good. The Bailey Ladders car got through to the end, and we'll just move on to next week. Actually, the week after.
Well, I was going to say, so that's your way of saying you won't be here for Zandvoort?
I might help you out in commentary or something, I don't know.
You're more than welcome to. I'll be fresh off the plane from Perth, mate. I could use all the help I can get. I'm a bit high and dry tonight because our good mate Liam Banks is otherwise engaged in a personal commitment. So next Monday night, I know he'll be here, but I'm willing to have you in the booth as well, because get the band back together. And I'm not terribly sure. We know how bad it was after last year's XL Nationals. I'm not terribly sure how well on the old Rev Limited the voice box will be. or whether it'll need some repairs and maybe some adjustments and upgrades. So please
Take
put
some water
yourself
and
in
some
for
honey.
commentary. Exactly. Next Monday night. Actually, good point. I'll buy some honey in town tomorrow and take it with me. As always, mate, appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
There he is, Nick, photo artist. Let's go to Greg Brooks and also Timmy Nicol here at this point in time. Brooksy, well done, mate. Smoked the competition in the end, and you did it on strategy.
Yeah, well, sort of. I kind of just rolled the dice and thought, yeah, let's see how we go.
That was a real compelling opening sequence of laps there, because it was you, it was Jason, it was Bradley, all duking it out, the three of you in tandem. And then all of a sudden, they've zigged and you've zagged, and you've been able to one-up them on the overcut, coming in just one lap later than they did. So was that strategic on your part to do that?
No, to be honest with you, I was just kind of running my own race. I didn't think I was as competitive as I actually was, but yeah, I just decided, you know what, I'll just do my own little race, and I'll go down till the fuel runs out. The only real strategy I had was I only changed the left front tyre, and that was about it.
Oh, okay. So only one tyre instead of the whole four.
Yeah, during my practice sessions, I noticed, you know, every other tyre was still like well within the 80% range, and my left front, I seemed to kill my left front, so all I did was just change that to cool it down, and I was all good to go.
Indeed, and on the subject of what you just said there, you wouldn't happen to know our good mate Brenton Hobson, because you've sold us a very Hobbo-like line by saying that you didn't think you were all that competitive.
Well, to be honest, I'm not. Like, the Super 3 series was the only one. That's the first time I'd actually driven the V8 supercar. So,
really?
Yeah, over in Hockenheim, whatever. There, that was round one, wasn't it?
That was round one. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's astonishing. I want to just jump in here, because for most of our members, the first thing they drive on the server is a supercar. So you've arrived. I know it's the Legacy. It's not the current spec, but in fact the current spec isn't on iRacing, but the Gen 2 is. So why so late to the party on the supercar front, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I kind of jumped from Mazda to Porsche Cup car and then into GT3. So that's kind of the three that I'm mostly stuck with, unless I dabbled in open wheels. But I don't know, I never got the grasp of the V8 supercars, to be honest. And then I was just helping some mates out with Bathurst 1000 practice and found out, hey, I'm not too bad.
So essentially, for 5 weeks of work, that's an awesome result, and it really sets you up now with a little bit of momentum to carry into the second half of the season. Yeah,
well, that event I probably spent a little bit more time practicing than probably would have been allowed, but you know, I took the opportunity while I could. So I thought, you know, I don't think I'm, you know, that competitive with a lot of the other tracks, but I think realistically it was just Monza, this one, and Hungary that I was actually had any decent pace in this car.
Now, what are your thoughts on Zandvoort next week? Because that is a completely different beast to what we've been dealing with tonight.
Oh, I reckon I'll be rounding up the rear for that one, because I've only done a few practice laps in the Ferrari at that track, so this is going to be fun.
No. In saying that, you actually brought a fair degree of luck on board tonight. You must have nabbed the right ticket in qualifying, mate, because all the carnage happened behind you, and the top three, you, Jason, and Bradley, just took off, bolted from the rest of the pack. They were 10 seconds behind after about 4 laps.
Yeah, actually, I actually, if you didn't see it, I had a blunder of a start. I spent all this time practicing and went, oh no, I haven't done a standing start yet. So I went, oh damn. So I lost like 3 spots to that, and then so I went to, I think, from 3rd to 6th, and then just picked up along the way. I saw carnage in turn 5 right behind me. Someone went for a dive, pretty heavy, and I freaked out and thought, oh no, here we go, and I kind of like backed out a little bit and then pushed on, but I saw the carnage behind and then thought, just push on. Don't worry about what's going on behind you. Just keep going.
Just focus on what's in front. Absolutely. And in saying all that, if we have a look at the start again, let's have a look at it now. Watch Greg inside second row there. And we were actually worried about the cars a couple behind you because there was some stalling about position number 6 there. And you're right, you didn't make the best start in the world, but you well and truly made up for it. But by that point, by the time we saw what was going on with you, we were so worried about the potential for carnage behind you, and it certainly delivered. And then almost a little bit of trouble at turn 1 there with a bit of car-to-car contact as well. So it wasn't all clean, but it was fast, and it was enough to get the job done, mate. A solid performance from you, a stroke of strategy play that worked to your favour, and you got the job done and put the FORDs on top. So well done on that, and good luck next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it, mate.
Very nicely done from Greg Brooks. What a great result that was for him to lead home the Holdens. Let's go back to the Super 2 split though right now and have a there's the carnage behind that he mentioned, and yes, he was only a car away. Had he been one more car further back in the queue, he would have been cleaned up like a 10-pin bowling pin. Fantastic. Now, Tim Nicol, well done to you. Solid result as well. We did see there, I think it was a podium finish, correct me if I'm wrong, but talk us through your race at Road America, knowing full well that neither those of us in the booth or those watching on at home have actually seen how it played out, mate. So we'll require a little bit more detail and a little bit more depth than usual on that one, sorry.
Oh, no doubt. And you're probably talking to the wrong sort of guy going too deep. But anyway, good race. And it was good to have a podium finish. So thanks for that. But Greg Favell and Visma were obviously way too quick. They were in the sub 204s in qual. Although they did muck around a fair bit at the start of the race and balked it up. And Andrew Dutch is no slouch. And he was right on the tail. So yeah, it was an interesting battle up the front. Happy with the result. I'm not sure what happened back in the field. I did hear there was some other incidents, but it was interesting being in the same chat channel as Greg and Anthony.
It's a shame for our race controllers that the servers' times for GT3 have already been set, and they need to turn their attention there very quickly, because I think that might mean that they need to go back and review the tape of Super 2 and Super 3 once GT3 is done. So they'll be hoping for a much quieter, a much cleaner GT3 race, I'm sure. They might require a nice bevo at the end of the night. Speaking of which, actually, got some news for you in a moment, ladies and gentlemen, that we need to break. But before that, because we didn't have a chance to tip the bill and say hello to the sponsors at the top of the show. But on the subject, Tim, that was by far and away your best result of the season thus far, mate. A 9th in round 1. You got catapulted down the order in round 2, and it's saying here on my screen 23 points, then 7th, and then a DNR. So all of a sudden, things are starting to turn around nicely for you.
Yeah, they are. Thanks, Zach. Yeah, no, it's good little series you guys have got going, and some of the guys that are regulars in the V8 vets are in this one. So no, it's really good. Thanks for letting me be involved. And I will be a little bit selfish here. The reason why I wanted to jump in here is I just wanted to have a big shout out to Joel Kelso, who came third in Moto 3. He is a Darwin boy. I'm a Darwin boy. Nice. Absolute little legend he is, the little ginger ninja. So I just wanted to get on and say that.
Can I just let everybody know as well, whether you were near the television throughout the course of the weekend, sitting there rather frustratedly as the schedule got thrown out the door 13 times, or whether you're watching from afar via social media, a colleague of mine, Mark Brax, posted an update from Cows today. Yeah. And I've worked on the Cessnock Mitsubishi Australian Postie bike with him, Grand Prix with him on a couple of occasions here, and he posted a picture today, and you may have seen it. Crystal clear, blue sky, perfect, beautiful conditions. Typical Victoria, 4 seasons in a weekend, and then all of a sudden, when you need it to be nice, the toys get thrown out of the cot, and as soon as you leave, and as soon as the damage is done, beautiful again, and to nobody's advantage. So I thought that was a strange twist of irony today. From our good mate down there, and of course the Australian Superbikes rolling to town this week. Of course, great result for Joel Kelso, and that's a story that we're going to watch with interest in the next short while. But since you mentioned Darwin, Timmy, let's give a plug to the other event that's actually just rolled out of there the last couple of days, the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge. A big thanks to everybody that's sending me updates from that as well. I've got a couple of friends that are involved in it, in both an organisational and a competitor aspect. And I got a report earlier this evening that there are the teams, because they can only travel during the daylight hours, the joys of solar. I've been receiving updates, so I've got reports through that the leaders of the event found their way to Alice Springs already, on their way to Adelaide, I might add, by Sunday. And the rest of the pack are still 500 kilometres down the road in Tennant Bloody Creek. So it's a fairly well sprung out sort of event. But the funny thing about it is, it's the second time in a year that Darwin obviously gets influxed with motorsport people after the supercars in June. It's a totally different, unique event. Have you ever gone to check it out?
Yeah, so I'm lucky enough to be a little bit involved in the political landscape of the territory. So no, we had a good chat with. It is what it is, but hey, you get to mix it with some of the good guys. So Chris Selwood, obviously managing director of the challenge. Obviously, you know, Mark from Motorsport South Australia and Heath from Bridgestone. Look, it's an absolutely fantastic event. It showcases the smartest minds in the world that come together for the challenge. It was, you know, they spent a good week, 2 weeks at least out at Hidden Valley. I went out there on Saturday, took some photos and watched them do their cracking laps of 2 minutes 16 with a top speed of 80 kilometres an hour. But an absolutely great event. We were in the shoulder season now, and we've had some great events from V8 supercars, as you'll know, the Hill and Valley Round. We've just also finished a couple of weekends of Chariots of Thunder with the sprint cars. We've sort of rounded it out now with the solar cars. So, it's been good. Looking forward to seeing who makes it to the end in Adelaide and how well they go. But, thanks. Darwin is a little place that not many people know about, but we punch way above our weight. And it's good to see Braxty out there. He comes out for the top end territory challenge. And I know all them boys, Russell Colvin and on the rest, they're a good bunch of lads.
I'm hoping to get up there at one point before too long, mate, because looking at the list of places that I've been and the boxes that I've ticked, Darwin and Hobart are the only two mainland capital cities that I haven't. Of course, Hobart's not exactly mainland, but it's a cap city. So they're the two that I haven't ticked yet. So somewhere down the track, I will endeavour to visit Darwin and hopefully catch up with you in the process.
If you're here, reach out. I'll show you around. We'll have a few revies and
all for it.
Hot spots.
Thanks, guys. I'm all for having a tour guide, mate. Go well next week, and we look forward to catching up with you after that.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks, guys.
Mark Foster, apologies. Quickly to you, now that Timmy and I have given the territory a free plug, let's bring you in at this point and say well done. Talk us through the night that was from behind the wheel of your cockpit, please.
G'day, Zach. Scary for the first lap. All those incidents that you were showing before all happened right in front of me. So I was behind the crash off the start and managed to avoid that. And then whoever lost it into turn 5, it happened right in front of me as well. So I was pretty lucky to I think I started 12th and I found myself in 4th or 5th, 4th by the end. But most of my race was fairly boring in the end because those top 3, they were just at another level. They were gone.
Yep. And I guess that's the other point with regards to what Timmy was saying in the Super 2 split. The top 2 are a cut above there as well. So I mean, there's a distinct on-track gap between those that will end up being the front runners in both championships and everybody else trying to play a little bit of catch up here.
Oh, and for me, and probably for a lot of us, it's just every lap is, what are you going to have? Are you going to make it? Are you going to make it around, or am I going to lose it on this corner, or is it going to be this corner? I'm just, I'm stressed the whole time I'm driving these things, so which makes it fun. But when you're actually in a good position, it makes the race fairly nerve-wracking.
And all the early race carnage, of course, didn't help matters either. If you were trying to hustle your way forward, being caught in the mid-pack, being wrong place, wrong time wasn't the way to do that. Midway point of the season, mate, how are you feeling about that? And while we're here, 2-pronged question, how are you feeling about GT3 just around the corner?
I'm not doing GT3 this season, unfortunately. I know just work got in the way, and I just couldn't quite make it work. So I've missed the whole, half the season now. So I haven't jumped in, which I'm a bit disappointed about, but I'll be back for it next season for sure. For this one, again, I've missed a couple of rounds, so this is just a bit of Monday night fun for me. If I have some good results like tonight, then fantastic.
Oh, well, no, I was going to say that brings about a little bit less pressure than usual, mate, when you've not got a full championship to think about.
Well, yeah, that's right. And after my efforts at Road America last season in the GT3s and winning it and losing the championship, I'm happy to have actually finished the race and had a good result.
Yeah, you're happy to finish the race there, and you're happy not to actually try and go and relive the night there in GT3. Yeah.
So hopefully mate, will all go well tonight.
Exactly. Go well on that note for the rest of the week.
Thanks,
Good
mate.
luck. Look forward to catching up with you whenever you pop by over the next few weeks, and nice to catch up as per usual.
Sounds good. See you guys.
All right, Adam Lavis, while I quickly fling the shed door open and grab a top up, we've got a new sponsor to welcome on board on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and a rather good one at that too. You're right. Yeah, just as I'm out of town for the next 2 Thursday nights, you won't hear from me until week 7 on Thursday Night Motorsport. It lands a bloody sponsor. Great to have them on board. Good on you, Pure Tasmanian Straight Insider. And if you haven't already, of course, feel free to crack one whilst you're sitting there watching the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Great to have them on board. Great that there are still so many great outlets, organisations, businesses, companies wanting to support what we do on the platforms of the GSRC, because put simply, as we've said so many times before, it doesn't happen without the support of people like that. So good on you, Sprayton. Thanks for coming on board. Let's remind everybody of where we are with regard to this magnificent piece of real estate. The second leg of the Monday night doubleheader. It is the first and only time this season that you'll see both the entree and the main course at the same racetrack. It is Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It is the famed Road America circuit. It is round 5 of Waste Options GT3. Tonight we are focusing solely on the AM split after a couple of weeks of sprint racing where we've been able to chop and change and show you one race from the AM split and one from the pro split. Tonight, 90 minutes of electrifying action from the AM split to look forward to here. And that's the lay of the land as far as the racetrack is concerned. 6.5 kilometres. It is a mecca. It's fast, it's flowing, it's technical and challenging. It is one of those circuits that can so easily bring you unstuck if you get it wrong. Evidence of that for the last 25 minutes with the supercars, of course. As far as the championships are concerned here, let's have a look at the AM split for you and remind you that whilst the top end of town in the pro split has been roughly relatively dominated by Ferrari and BMW, it's Ferrari and a mix of Mercedes and Porsche and McLaren and BMW that are doing the damage here. So many different manufacturers participating here. We've actually got 1, 2, 3 bloody McLarens in the server tonight. Still no love for the Audi, still no love for the Lambo, and still no love for the Ford in this server. But the good news, Adam, 33 cars are expected to line up on the grid tonight, so we should have no shortage of content for our first Enduro of Season 4 of the 2023 calendar year on the platforms of the GSR.
Indeed, should be a good night. Boys should put on a good show for us. 90 minutes around here, and it's one of those ones that it's always interesting around here, especially with GT3s and Porsches. Fuel is always interesting because it's one of those tracks where just the timing of the laps, you can sneak that extra lap, and then a lot of people can get caught out and not have that, and it's a long way to get around if you're a lap short.
Indeed, that is the case. We've seen it on so many occasions in the past. We'll wait and see if it unfolds in that similar fashion again here tonight. The checkered flag's about to fly on this 30-minute qualifying session. Jermaine Tacklew on top on 155 points. Michael Schroeder 138 as far as the championship's concerned. It's Mercedes and McLaren leading the way ahead of the first of the Ferraris. Greg Heaney on 135 points. Paul Wood 128 and Sean Benicci on 123. Then James Francone sitting back there on 117 points. James Snadden 113. Gary Cousins 110 and Joe Baldwin 108 points. With Sean Rees rounding out the top 10 on 106. So 49 points covers first through 10th. That is a fairly sizable margin, but it's one of those situations where, because we've still got 6 races to go, because we've got more points on offer tonight, the tables can so quickly turn here, either in your favour or against you if you get it wrong tonight. And that's why at the end of week 7, once I'm through Perth and Postie Bike and everything else, we will be able to have a look at where things stand once the drop rounds are taken into the equation. But that will also be a pendulum swing throughout weeks 8, 9 and 10 as well, because that updates just like the rest of the championship situation does too. So the track and weather conditions will update once we switch over to the race server. Once we do that, we'll have a look at how all that is positioned for you. 3 stops is the expected pit strategy here tonight. We will wait and see if it plays out that way. Greg Heaney's clocked the fastest time of the session, 2:03.796. The only car in the 2:03.7s, but look at the advantage that he's got. 2/5 of Sweet FA over Braden O'Loughlin. 0.02 of a second. 2:03.796 place 2:03.811. That's 0.015 of a second, the official pole margin here. They've then got 4 tenths over David Baz, Sean Benicci, and David White, the top 5. 5 different manufacturers in the top 10. There are 2 Porsches, there are 2 BMWs, there are 2 Mercs, there are 3 Ferraris, and a McLaren. Now, I know we've been singing the praises of the newest sponsor on the platforms, the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club, but of course, Waste Options have been a mainstay supporter of the GT3 series for some time now, so we must thank them for their ongoing support. So too, of course, Orbic Australia, Login Systems, Player One Sim Gear, Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Reminding you all as well, ladies and gentlemen, even though I'm away the next 2 Thursday nights, I'm here the Monday nights, and the rest of the crew will pick up the pieces in my absence this week and next on Thursday night. And of course, we've got Schultze and Daniel Correa-Sarr standing by to bring you Wednesday night motorsport. We had a rare edition of Tuesday night motorsport last week. We were very busy on the platforms of the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club. And mark this in your diary as well. The first Sunday of November, 2 days before the Melbourne Cup, the day after Derby Day, Sunday, November 5, whilst I'm in Cessnock commentating Postie Bikes, you'll be watching the latest round of the GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship and the hypercars involved in that as well, with thanks to Login Systems, and that will be coming your way from the Road Atlanta circuit. Right, there's the updated track and weather conditions for you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at it now. We're looking at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're looking at October 22, 2023. We're looking at a 23-degree ambient temperature and a 27-degree track temp on a partly cloudy day there in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Greg Heaney and Braden O'Loughlin the front row. David Baz, Sean Benicci the second. David White, William Yarwood. Great to see William having a good run up there on the third row. Gary Cousins, Dale Sharp, Dane Snadden, Jermaine Tacklew make up the top 10. Jermaine, of course, looking to bounce back after a disappointing run last week. Over the page we'll go, can we? Sorry, Adam. There we go. James Francone and Tony Baker from row 6. And from 7, it's Adam Pold and Michael Schroeder. 8, Paul Wood, Bradley Curtin. On the back of the heroics in the supercars, of course. Ryan Wooden and Eduardo Zamora from row 9, and row 10, Aidan Schultz and Warren Ibert. Row 11 is Philip Butler and Callum Heinrich. Row 12 is John McHenry and also Tristan Kosh. Row 13, Grant Gill and Brett Campbell. Row 14, Pete Matson, Neil Gladwin. Row 15, Greg Spencer, Adam Johnson. Row 16, Nigel Patton and the great man Pariana Stark is back on deck having a run. About bloody time, good to see. And Marty Mitchell rounds out the field. Will he be joined by Sean Rees? I'm not sure. We will wait and see. Now, we're set to go here. 90 minutes. Makes for a very late night for us on the platforms of the GSRC, ladies and gentlemen. Remembering that last week's post-race show went longer than the 2 races in the sprint rounds. So it'll be interesting to see what we deliver this time round. This is the midway point of the season. After this 5 down, 5 to go, and we cannot wait to see what unfolds in the back half of the season. This is the second last hit out of Monday Night Motorsport for the month of October, and we've got the field set and ready to go. Keep an eye out too. I was in Orange yesterday, commentating some 4-stroke karting for the 4-stroke Karting Association in New South Wales. Caught up with two of our own in Russ Green and also, of course, the great man Jared Knight. We did an interview with them post-race, after a spectacular exit from them. You'll have to watch the interview to find out more. We will have that dropping on the 4SKA page tomorrow, tagging the GSRC broadcast page, so you'll hopefully be able to access it. We'll put it up in the GSRC group on Facebook as well, if we can. Getting set for start. Road America on a Monday night, the second leg of the doubleheader, and round 5 of Race GT3 is green. The M split stretches down towards the first corner, and it's a beautiful conversion off the line from Greg Heaney. But Braden O'Loughlin has lost a spot off the start there to David Baz, who slotted into second place early on. The field fairly well spread out, actually. It wasn't the best looking start formation I've ever seen, but that has enabled these guys to play it smart and keep it clean as they head down towards turn 5 for the first time. Further back in the pack, it'll be fraught with danger. It'll be a little bit sketchy and skatey there in the early stages as those guys go about sorting themselves out and fighting for some clear air and some clean real estate. A little bit of positional swapping going on further down the field. Off track goes Adam Pold. That's the first lump. And there'll be more where that came from throughout the course of the night, I'm sure. Adam Pold is on the tow rope and in the pit lane already. That's unfortunate. And it makes the rod for your own back this early in the night when you're paying an invoice that early in the piece. Especially when it's 90 minutes. The only way he'll probably have a chance of getting back into it now is with either some fuel saving or an unlikely safety car. And I say unlikely because if they're not going to throw one out during the supercars and all that carnage and chaos, why would they throw one out here? 1:37 gone out of 90 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, and side by side we go. Dane Snadden in 9th place at the moment with Dale Sharp, and he displaces Sharp trying to get back on the inside, get out of the corner, and does so. And wide goes Snadden on the exit. That'll open the door maybe for Jermaine Takaloo in 10th to try and find his way through. He hasn't been able to just yet. Up the outside to turn 14. Round they come. One lap gone. And another 40 or so to go. Up onto the main straight. Snadden on the outside. Takaloo on the inside. And Takaloo has the advantage. The inside running to turn 1. Under brakes. Watch him go. Lunge down the inside to consolidate the spot. And go out in pursuit of Dale Sharp. And he gets it done nicely. Snadden looks to get the up and under on the exit of 1. But wasn't able to do so. Bear with us, folks. A couple of issues with the totem pole at the moment, but there's not much we can do about that. 2:09.7 was the starting lap time there for Greg Heaney, the leader, who's got 1.5 over David Baz at the moment, who's under pressure from White, O'Loughlin, Benici, Yarwood. And there's 1 second gap back to Cousins, and if you can break that time and get it out beyond a second, it's as good as gold. An inch is as good as a mile here, because the tow is so vitally important on a track as open, as flowing, as fast as this. You break that and you're laughing. Takaloo up in 9th place at the moment. Paddle packs raging right throughout the field. There have been some big winners and losers on the opening lap. Adam Pold, the first of those, and he has parked up and retired. Adam Pold, the first retirement of the night. We're down to 32 already on lap 1 of 90, or lap 2 of a 90-minute race. It was a 5-second penalty for the contact from Paul Wood on Adam Pold on the opening lap. You're going to see that now, no doubt. And there wasn't much in it, to be fair with you. Have a look at it. Oh, there it is. Bang. Well, actually, to be fair, it was actually the car in front that checked up and Cole smashed into him. I don't know if Paul Wood's actually got a case to answer there, if I'm perfectly honest. Most control, no doubt, get a second look at that a little bit later on. Here goes David White. Back we go to find Michael Schroeder. 2:05.168, the fastest lap of the race thus far. That marker should fall throughout the course of the night. Should drop. Schroeder to the outside, loses track position. Oh, and nearly lost it completely. He nearly lost out into the concrete. He was lucky not to get sent that way. Exit drivers left on the outside of 2. There's concrete within metres. And he nearly saw it head on. Whoa, boy. Heaney, Baz, White, O'Loughlin. It's on in earnest here. Here's Schroeder in 13th. Down on the inside. Can he get by? Yes. Yes. Can he hold it? Yes. Nicely done. Schroeder back up to 12. Displaced Bradley Curtin. Paul Wood and James Francone in there for good measure as they make their way through the left-hander at turn 6. Heaney's out to a 2-second advantage. So Heaney's starting to flirt with that potential promotion, I would imagine, to the pro split before the end of the season. If he keeps up with form like this. It'll be interesting to see what the winning margin tonight is and what the pace is like from him throughout before those decisions are made by Adam Lavis and by virtue of the matrix and the procedural system that he has in place. We take live pictures here around the back of the circuit through the kink towards Canada corner we go. 6 minutes on the clock. Gone so far. O'Loughlin gets by Baz. Trouble. Jermaine Takaloo has dropped down to 10th place and now is in a war of words and embroiled in battle with Dane Snadden, who has now fallen behind Takaloo. So Takaloo back up in tonight, Snadden to 10th. There was a move for David White getting by Braden O'Loughlin, and David Baz has lost out in that and dropped down to 4th. William Yarwood's got by. Sean Bonici's dropped 2 spots, so there's a fair bit of positional changing hands at the moment. Lap 4, and down the inside, Takaloo yields and lets Snadden go through. I'm a little bit surprised. I shouldn't be, because different server, different split, different drivers. The game plan is polar opposite to what we see in the pro splits. Adam Lavis, so much positional squabbling so early in the piece.
Yeah, it's very close in the GT3s, and they're all fairly evenly matched. And it's one of those things with racing. So the faster the cars get, the harder they are to race. So trying to get the move done on other cars can get harder because the braking zones get shorter, and that's your main spot where you want to get your moves done. So with these sort of cars, you're more about putting pressure on somebody, trying to get them to make a slight mistake so you can get a run and get yourself in that position to get that braking job done.
And Sean Bonici's just punched out the fastest lap of the race as well, 2:05.079. 7.5 minutes gone. So much still to come here. Monday Night Motorsport, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Hope you're enjoying the show as much as we're enjoying bringing it to you. Snadden again applying the pressure here, but not to Takaloo anymore. This time to Paul Wood, to Gary Cousins, I should say. Down the inside, displaces Cousins. Made very light work of him, to be fair. And Snadden moves up into 8th. So you got 2 Beamers, 2 Mercs, 2 Porsches, a McLaren, and 3 Ferraris in the top 10 at the moment. The 2 Porsches at the tail of the 10, and the 3 Ferraris are at the pointy end, the top of the 10. 1, 2, and 3 lockout for the prancing horse at the moment. Across the line we go. David White in 2nd place. All over the back of him is Braden O'Loughlin and David Baz. Meanwhile, Greg Heaney has accelerated out to a 5-second advantage this early in the piece. Down the inside. Good move. O'Loughlin defends Baz. Baz forced to sit back in 4th spot for the moment. But the 2 Ferraris holding sway. Benici 205.079, giving William Yarwood a hurry up and applying the pressure there. Dale Sharp, Dane Snowden, Gary Cousins, Jermaine Tackle the top 10. So the Ferraris are strong. The Porsches are struggling at the moment. And there's pressure looming from both BMW and, more importantly, Mercedes. They're in fourth spot at the moment, as we continue watching David White lead the battle for second. 9.5 minutes gone, and we're 10% of the way there, ladies and gentlemen. So a long way to go. You know, the old SH1T is getting real, Adam Lavis, when you get the Virgin Australia travel reminder come through on a Monday afternoon for a Wednesday afternoon flight, saying 48 hours until you're boarding to Perth. So yes, off to the other side of another ball later in the week. I won't be with you on Thursday Night Motorsport. I might try, if I can, jump in on Discord from Wanneroo and say hello to everybody, but no promises, no guarantees. Looking forward to catching up with our good mate. And he's not on the grid tonight, and I should mention that unfortunately Tucker was at the dentist this afternoon getting a tooth pulled. Oh no, off goes Jermaine Takaloo! Off goes Jermaine Takaloo! Takaloo is plummeting down the order. There he is. He's had an off through the kink at the back section of the circuit there, turn 11. Out of the carousel, then into the kink. Watch this. Uh-oh. Lost the rear end. Porsche 101s. Clouded the concrete wall, and he's been left to be a sitting duck. He rejoins the racetrack down in 21st place. Now, it's a case of playing catch up the rest of the night. Round went Pete Matson. Well, that's one way to get screen time, Pete, but not the sort of screen time you'd want, I wouldn't imagine. But yes, our good mate Trucker Joe, after running the Mountain Men this Saturday night, is going to make the trek out to Barbagallo on Sunday. Anyone over in the West, I know we've got club members over there in WA. Look forward to hopefully catching up with you while I'm there. Make sure you come out to carco.com.au Raceplay Saturday, Sunday for the WA Sporting Car Club event, which is headlined by the Hyundai XL Nationals for this season. And we are very much looking forward to that. That's the only reason I'm in town, to be fair. And Trucker's making his way out to say good day. Looking forward to seeing him, much like I saw Jared Knight and Russ yesterday out in Orange. Slowly but surely making my way around the country and making acquaintance with club members that I've never met in real life, but I've known for yonks through Discord. There at the moment on your screen is the battle for, I'm just going to pick this up here, I think we've got Tony, Bradley Curtin, yes, so that would be down in 12th place following Paul Wood. So I picked up the Bailey Ladders car, but I couldn't tell whether it was bloody Wood or Cousins, obviously I wasn't getting it. So it is the Ferrari. The Porsche of Cousins is up there in 9th place chasing Dale Sharp. So inter-manufacturer battles unfolding here. Curtin, of course, looking to back up the podium, finishing the supercars. Super 3 and the Player 1 Trim Gear will try and follow his progress throughout the course of the night. He started well. He's sitting there in 12th, up 4 spots from where he started. But you can play the long game here, Adam Lavis. You know this. These races aren't going to be won and lost on the opening round. They can be lost, they can't be won. And so many times more often than not, you can have a lackluster run in qualifying and start mid to low pack and accelerate your way forward and make great progress over the course of 90 minutes. But you've got to play your game right. You've got to play the cards right.
Very much so. It's one of those tracks. It's very much a strategic track because it's a sort of long, flowing track. You can definitely get yourself a bit of fuel mileage and try and give yourself a little upper hand later on the fuel stops and sneak a little sneaky pass without having to do any work. So it's a matter of finding where you're at, finding who you're racing against, and do your best to move forward.
Great. Greg Heaney leads. The margin is 5.3 seconds. David White has put some space between himself and David Badge to the tune of 1.4. And Brayden O'Loughlin is then not too far behind him, really giving him a hurry up at the moment. Then William Yarwood is got by Sean Benici, who's 6th. And with the fastest up the race thus far. and that's leading a rather long train of cars back all the way to where we're looking at now. Madden, Sharp, Cousins, Baker, Wood, Curtin, Schroeder, and Frencombe. Now I am up the creek without a paddle because my timing's disappeared. I will try and get that back. There it is. Very nicely done. It's a heart-stopping sort of moment when it happens because there's only so much you can tell the audience at home without that data and information. Down towards Canada we go once more. Plunge down the inside. So we've got the two teammates together now, Cousins and Wood, and down on the inside of them goes Tony Baker. And Cousins has been displaced by Wood on the exit of 12 on the run up to 13. So now Gary Cousins is sitting duck here. Bradley Curtin halvering, lurking all over his tail at the moment, all over the bumper. Nose to tail, onto the lane straight they come. 2:04.867. Greg Heaton punches out the fastest number of the night thus far. And the advantage is now 5.62 at the front of the field. Just give everybody a heads up at home as well. If you are commenting at the moment, obviously with our graphics not on screen right now, we're not going to be able to interact with those comments. More so from my end because I'm not actually watching either the Facebook, Twitch or YouTube feed. Oh, off goes Tony Baker! Off goes Tony Baker! Down the 16th goes Tony, and he's going to continue to plummet. The Ferrari's had a moment. Outside the top 15 now, and about to be 20th. We'll go up the outside to 19. It is so easy to run into trouble here. It can so easily come undone. Just as it has done there for Tony.
Yeah, pretty sure
having had a pretty good run until that point.
Pretty sure the chat will be still okay. It's just the SDK's not coming through.
Copy that. All right, so if you are interacting with the broadcast, we'll hopefully still see those comments. If not, we'll do our best. I normally follow along, as most of you know, if you have been tuning in long enough now. I'm usually would 9 times out of 10 follow along with what's going on via those comment threads. But I'm using the remote setup at the moment. I'm one monitor down on what I would usually have, and it is the fact that I've had to, because of the internet issues that we've had in the last couple of weeks. The internet runs far better on the laptop than it does the PC. So I'm actually using Discord on the laptop and using the PC for timing and all that other relevant information, but I don't have a screen to play with with regards to Facebook at the moment. Down the inside to Canada corner. Nice bit of driving. Cleanly. And now it's about the comeback. Now it's about the recovery. Or Tony Baker back up into 19th.
David Baz, 2:04.85. So he
shots fired by the Mercedes. Oh, shots fired. But the biggest problem for Baz at the moment is the presence of David White. He's got to try and find a way by David White, and if he can't do that, he's not going to get a chance to go and have a crack at Greg Heaton, because 5.8 the margin at the moment, first to second. That is the key to igniting the fight for David Baz. He's got to get by David White. If he doesn't, he can forget about it. It's not that David's holding him up per se, it's that if Baz is going to exert that sort of pace, he needs Courier to be able to do it consistently. And then that all of a sudden puts the pressure back on him to consolidate the advantage or run with him and go punch for punch on the qualifying lap front. But then again, you've got to think tactically and think smartly about it, because if memory serves, the runs around here last time Adam Lavis were somewhere in the vicinity of 11 laps. So, I mean, we're expected to go at least 40 tonight, knowing that about 2:05 is where it's at. So every 12 laps we're going to lose a minute of play there. So 41 to potentially 3. And if you can't get to 11 laps for a run and it's 10, that might trigger an extra pit stop. It might end up being a 4-stopper. And you probably don't want that. But then again, once safety car means everybody would get home on 3, I would imagine. Because it'd save enough fuel throughout 2 laps and you'd lose enough time. There'd be enough time to get out of the clock to save you there. David White actually on that note to pit lane at the end of lap 9. Now that is incredibly early. That is incredibly early. So that suggests to me that he, and also Michael Schroeder, who's on your screen at the moment, and Eduardo Zamora, Ryan Wooden's off the road at turn 14 as well. Those guys look like they're committing to a 4-stop from the outset. Without knowing otherwise, I would suggest they are committing to a 4-stop. Oh boy. So therefore, that's just changed the game again, hasn't it? But there will be a little bit of fluctuation in the fuel range here and the mileage that these guys get. Remembering that this is the AM split, so they approach things differently to the guys in the pro split, even though they're running the same cars. Same machine. Greg Heaney, the leader. The margin is 7 seconds. David Baz has been released now with that pit stop for David White. You're watching Monday Night Motorsport across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube platforms of Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Night 1 of week 5 of term 4 of 2023, or 1911 if you're tuning in the sunshine, the legend sunshine state of Queensland. Where we're an hour behind all summer long, which made a great degree of sense the other morning when the weather reports on weekend today were coming from the Gold Coast and were live into the progressive and civilised parts of the eastern seaboard. But anyway, I was quick to remind Dan of that. He said, "Oh, is that great? Skillful?" With what there was some exhibition going on. It might have been some freestyle BMX or something like that. And I said, "Do you think he's talented there? Wait until an hour when he's doing exactly the same thing in the Queensland." Allegedly live, because they have the live billboard banner on the top right-hand or left-hand side of the screen, but it should say live AEDT. So hello to Grant Gill, who will watch this back on replay tomorrow, and no doubt be going through and ticking off his bingo card. I think I've just put the first line for you, my friend. While I'm waiting for a little bit more information to come back to me here, because I've lost the timing screen through SDK once more. Bear with us, folks. So in the meantime, that's Paul Wood in the Ferrari, the Bailey Riders. And he is chasing the the Mercedes now. I'm so used to calling him in the BMW, Dale Sharp. Behind them is Bradley Curtin. They are the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. And this is interesting because now we've got strategists trying to crunch the numbers for these guys. Just getting asked at the interval first to second is it's now 1.57, and that's only the case because our race leader, Greg Heaney, has come to pit lane. And he has a 4-second advantage over David White. But what's interesting here is we've had a handful of drivers stop on lap 10, a handful stop on lap 9. We're now on lap 11. So we're expecting a flurry of pit activity across this lap and potentially the next one. That's going to give us an idea as to where we're at strategy-wise for the rest of the night. And have a look at this. Pressure aplenty. Dale Sharp and Paul Wood. Round they come, onto the main straight. Baz and O'Loughlin and Yarwood are in. This is the flurry of pit stops we've been waiting for. Here we go. They're all in at the end of lap 11. Some of the guys that have pitted lap 9 and 10 might have just been looking for clear air, might have needed a fast repair, might have their numbers a little bit different to what we've got, might be able to still do it on 3 more stops. But I couldn't imagine that we're going to get through this race without seeing some drivers stop 3 times and others stop 4 because of those early pit stops. Now, O'Loughlin, Baz, Yarwood and Cousins make it 4 different manufacturers in the top 4, but this order is about to get flipped on its lid. We've got the Greg Heaney's just accelerating through the order now up into first place, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I think I've counted it right. Pit stops unfolding simultaneously there. And now, for the first time tonight, the field is cleansed. The first time tonight, the field is cleansed. The margin is 4.5. Heaney to White, and Baz has found his way out behind David White again. He'll be frustrated by that, I'm sure, because he wanted to get by White and buy some clear air and clear real estate to try and go after Heaney. And he's ended up boxing again. Copy that. Fastest lap of the race on your screen there at the moment. That is an old piece of information. That needs some updating, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get to that very shortly. And we thank Waste Options for their ongoing support of GT3 Pro and AM throughout the course of this season. And hopefully our graphics pack will be back very shortly. Adam Lavis pulling his hair out, what's left of it at least, behind the scenes at the moment, trying to sort that out. I will do as best I can in the meantime. Heaney, White, Baz, O'Loughlin and Benici, the top 5. Snadden is there in 6th place. William Yarwood 7th. Paul Wood and Dale Sharp Brother Curtin the top 10 after that first round of pit stops. Then we go and have a look at the movers and shakers, those that have gained, those that have lost so far. Ariana Stark, that's our good mate, is still sitting down in 32nd place, out of business at the moment. And I'm not terribly sure what that's all about. He's last of the runners. We know Adam Cole has retired already. We know that Sean Rees didn't start. We know that Jamie had some race control. Now, I might not actually, because of what's going on, the tech issue behind the scenes, I might not actually be able to give you a full representation of gains and losses position-wise once that timing screen comes back to me, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll do my best. I'll do my very best. Heaney the leader, White in second, Baz third, we're on lap 13 in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And the thing's starting to settle down a little bit. And in order to buy my colleague and I some time to sort out what the hell's going on here, let's jump on board. Let's go for a lap with somebody. Maybe Dale Sharp with Paul Wood here, or actually, no. Just let us know who we're jumping on board here with. Adam Lavis, please.
David Baz.
Okay, so David Baz has found his way back to the back of David White now. This is Ferrari v Mercedes. This is the battle for second. And whilst these two continue to duke it out, Greg Heaney's lead is still 4.3 seconds. So they've got a long way to go to catch Greg at this point in time. Let's go for a lap of Road America on board the Merc, chasing the all-new, mightily impressive Ferrari. Well, that was a good lap until it's blown up in smoke. David Baz and also David White have come together at turn 3. Baz has resumed. He still holds the fastest lap of the motor race. He had got by on the run down to turn 1, then all of a sudden, all hell has broken loose, and David White has plummeted down to 18th position on the racetrack, and race control will have some investigating to do. Now, here it is on the inside. That was White trying to get by. Contact on the exit of the corner. Watch them go exit stage left when they should have been going right, and White pays the price. Now, we get another look at it here from the overhead shot, the aerial shot, courtesy of Waste Options. Oh,
that's going to be a tough one because
that's going to be a very tough one for race control to adjudicate on.
Because the blue one wasn't exactly running off to the right of the track there, so that's going to be very hard.
I don't envy race control at this point. Unexpected visitor dropping into the commentary box this early in the night after 30 minutes of play. Yes, can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? We're 1/3 race distance here at Road America already. In our coverage around 5 of Waste Options GT3. And it's our old mate, former El Presidente, David Johnson. Hello, mate.
Evening, guys. I've just, with relief, realised we're doing a bit of a pro-am broadcast, so I don't need to come and explain myself for what just happened. But
well, actually, now that you've dubbed yourself in, you kind of do.
Yeah, I'll do that Homer Simpson into the bushes here and treat gracefully. It turns out fuel is good, and no fuel is not good.
Oh, okay. So you've tried to get round on the smell of an oily rag or quality fuel, have you?
No, just a fairly simple requirement to tick a box that says please put fuel in the car when you pit. But
no.
Apparently I've got the Ferrari crew on board tonight. We didn't get around to that. So, yeah, good first stint, good fun, good racing going on in the Pro. But I'm not quick enough to make 2 laps of towing back, so I thought I'd come say hello.
We were thinking Plan
You're welcome to stay around as long as you like.
We're thinking Plan G, David. Do you think Plan G will be okay?
Yeah, no, that worked out really nicely. It's a shame too. Saved a bit of fuel and it was all looking good. And
Bradley Curtin, boys, trying to get by on the inside, and got it a little bit taily on the exit, bogged it down and couldn't convert. Dale Sharp holds on to wait for now, but now they've both got to be worried about Eduardo Zamora, who's lunged onto the back of them. Sorry, David, continue on, mate.
No, that's all I've really got. It was all good fun. Looks like there's some good racing going on here as well. Thought I'd just drop in and say hello. I've got to go and I'm going to drop this bomb and then leave. I've got to go adjust the clock because I'm flying to Brisbane tomorrow.
Start the winding now, and you might actually finish it before you get to Brisbane. I believe you've got to go back, 112 years?
Yeah, start wind the clock tonight and
1 hour.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, 112 years and 1 hour. Oh dear, I don't envy you, mate, because I'm dreading going there in a couple of weeks' time. I'm actually more looking forward to going to Perth, because at least over there the time difference makes a lot more bloody sense on Wednesday. However, in saying all that, now that you have bought yourself an extra hour of sleep tonight, just a quick comment, because we haven't had too much of an opportunity to touch base with you throughout the course of the season. Can you believe we're halfway through Turn 4 already?
No, absolutely not. It's we were counting. One of those lovely conversations today at work where we were counting the work days left in the year, and there are not too many. So
no, not at all.
It's going quick.
Hold the thought, mate. I want to ask you 1 or 2 more things here, but have a look at this. That's Sean Benici holding on to the airlife. Paul Wood squeezing down the inside. Dane Snadden getting by William Yarwood. And trademark Road America 101 stuff going on there, because as soon as the floodgates open, when you're in a battle pack like that, it's so easy. You can lose 1, 2, 3 positions in the blink of an eye. Sean Benici holding on to 4th as the leader of the train at the moment, doing themselves no favours in the hope of trying to catch David Baz and Braden O'Loughlin, though. But it's O'Loughlin trying to get by Baz in the battle for second. Greg Heaney's now 8 seconds up the road, and that's all on the back of that contact between David White and David Baz earlier. Cannot wait to see what race control think of that. David, as former president of the club, great that it's still going gangbusters, great that we're still member strong. The numbers there are rather incredible, considering that life has somewhat got back to normal on the back of COVID and everything else. And further evidence to that when a new sponsor comes on board, as has been the case in the last few days.
Yeah, look, I think everyone should have a lot of confidence based on the last 6 to 12 months that the club's going to be around for a long time to come. They always say the club's bigger than one person. And yeah, it's great to see new drivers every now and then, new sponsors, new committee members, and look, the same great product and really great racing. So, no, 10 out of 10 for everyone that's doing the hard yards at the moment.
Absolutely. Down the inside comes Paul Wood. And Benici had no choice but to give him some room, because Wood was forceful on the inside. Benici wanted to get back on the inside going into 13 and wasn't able to do it. Wood is fourth. And we've got 3 Ferraris now in the top 5 again.
Woodsy's got some pace, but also the annoying thing with the SDK playing up is I'm thinking he must have done something strategic-wise, because he was outside the top 10 by a fair bit before the pit stops, and he's jumped right up to their face. So he's on a mission here tonight, Woodsy.
We are running on limited data now, ladies and gentlemen, so just bear with us on that.
We'll be semi-reset once they do the next lot of pit stops. It should refresh itself for us.
Hopefully. We'll keep our fingers crossed. David, aside from GT3's mates, what else is keeping you busy throughout the course of a 7-day sim racing week, as we still manage to have?
No, Zach, it's sort of like you said, that return to real life. It's hanging on for dear life to be here on Monday nights at the moment. That's about it.
It's a crushing reality check, isn't it, when real world creeps in and ruins your fun?
Yeah, so, crashed myself last week, forgot to fuel this week, so, need to...
You're not doing yourself any favours.
I'm going to have a word to some of these people in real life and help them to understand where the priorities lay, and that I need things to go a bit better than this. So, no, that's it at the moment. It's the reality is always, you look at what the club puts on and go, I'd love to do some Porsche Cup, I'd love to do some Super 2, I'd love to do some open wheelers, and I'd love to show up on Saturday night and do a bit of mountain men. But, the calendar suggests other plans, unfortunately.
All right, very nice. Big moment for Snudden! Going through the carousel! He'll lose a spot there on the inside. Drops back to 7th. William Yarwood now, 6th place.
David, you're in the BMW as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is that something that the BMW's been going into the carousel, trying to lose a relay? Because it seems a bit of an odd spot to get a little taily through there.
If you really get overconfident, it is definitely possible. You've got to really try and thrash it through there. And looking how close this battle is, if you try and sneak a 10th or so there's more risk than reward. It is possible. You can slide it all the way through if you're really clever, but it's probably not great for the tyres or the pace.
It's probably not the best for tyre wear.
Not at all.
Speaking of which, the battle for second's heating up here.
As per usual, down on the inside, no, thought better of it. Read that Braden O'Loughlin trying to get by David Baz, who's driven a very nice race thus far, with the exception being that contact with David White. We haven't heard anything from race control on that. We'll hopefully get an update before too long, although the further we go here, I'm starting to think that there might be no further action. 37 minutes played out of an hour and 30, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, as they head down towards turn 5 once more. So considering that you're doing yourself no favours whatsoever with regards to a mistake last week, a fuel muck up this week, you can only hope it's not third time unlucky next week, and you can turn it around and start to string some results together in the final races of the season, David.
Yeah, definitely. I think I already got half an eye on round 10 at Bathurst. That's I seem to have outperformed myself there recently. So I did have half an eye on top 10 in the championship. I think I've sorted that out for myself the last 2 weeks. Good finish of the season. Take it week by week. All the usual quotes, right?
100%. 100%. All right, mate, I won't hold you up any longer. You've got the early mark, the unplanned, unscheduled early mark and early shower, so go and enjoy that, and enjoy Brisbane for the early 19th century experience that it is these days, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Easy. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Thanks for the great broadcast.
You're welcome. As per usual, we wouldn't be anywhere else on a Monday night unless Delta Goodwin was down. That was 4 weeks ago, can you believe that? This year's flying on by. Even after next week, I land in Sydney at 1:15 with full intention of being here in the broadcast at 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time next Monday night. Just got to dot the I's and cross the T's with regards to the logistics of that, because someone, the family don't trust me to leave the car at Tigra Station in the parking lot for 5 days. So they're, oh no, there goes Marty Mitchell on replay. They're making arrangements to try and pick me up and drop me off and do whatever I do. Dane Snadden in the meanwhile. Uh-oh. It's Canada corner. You hold your breath. You've got it done. That's a nice bit of driving, actually. Sean Benici could do nothing but let him go. So, Ferrari 1, 3, and 4, Mercedes 2. Have a look at this now. It's backing up rather.
Oh!
Oh no, more trouble! Gone! Big one! Massive crash! There's the big one that's been brewing for a while! Sean Benici gets through relatively unscathed. William Yarwood, the unlucky one. Oh dear. William Yarwood, that car's going nowhere, I wouldn't imagine. It's broken. That was a fairly hefty shunt. We've been right place, right time for all the drama tonight, haven't we? Yarwood's night is done. He'll be on the tow rope heading to pit lane. Now, David White, actually, after the contact there earlier, also had to pit early in the piece. He now finds himself nearly a lap down. Oh, God. Here it is from the overhead. Oh, no. Yarwood just got sent, and there was an innocent bystander there on the inside. It had nowhere to go. And Yarwood's on the tow rope. Eduardo Zamora on the tow rope as well. As a result of that, bang. And whoever instigated the contact scraped the wall as well, but managed to continue on. So race control have yet another incident review. Interesting to point out as well, this is Dale Sharp's view of it. It was Sean Benici that made the contact. By the looks of that, I think I'm right in saying. Dale Sharp remains 7th. Michael Schroeder's come to pit lane. Interestingly enough, lap 14 was the contact between second and third, the two Davids, Baz and White. That was the last time we saw White on pit lane. He has resumed, but he's going to be on a completely different strategy for the rest of the night, and he's nearly a lap down on the field too. So, I mean, had that incident been any bigger, that would have been the safety car that would have brought White back into the equation here. But not anymore. Can we have a look at the track and server conditions as well, please, Adam? Because I don't think I updated everybody on that as we got going here. Closing in on 3:30 in the afternoon. Ambient 23, 27 on track. Side by side we go. 15th and 16th, if you don't mind. 4. So Warren Ibert had no choice but to give Ryan Wooden some space there, and Wooden took all of it. And Ibert tried to get the run up the outside through turn 6 to hang there for 7. Nope, he now yields. He ran out of luck on that one. We're waiting for the second round of pit stops too, ladies and gentlemen, because we saw stops on lap 9, 10, 11 and 12 last time round, so we wait for more stops this time round. Michael Schroeder the first of those at the end of lap 19. So the contact 15 on 101, that has resulted in a 15-second penalty as well. Sorry, a 10-second penalty, my apologies. That's rather unlucky. Eduardo Zamora has parked up for the night. William Yarwood still in pit lane after 3 minutes. We'll be hoping to get back out there. Harry Nostakis back out as well in 30th at the moment. Pete Matson 29th. And David White 28th.
This is early. This is before half race distance.
That is Greg King's on pit road. That is not expected.
And being how close it is to half race distance, is he selling himself short?
He's on the bubble.
Or does he know that he can still make it? It's going to be one of those things. Because if he has to do another stop, that's not going to be good.
Can he get to 11 for the first stint and then go 9? If he's done that, then he'll be okay. But we're none the wiser with that data that's disappeared. So, yeah. I'd love to be able to say with any sort of confidence whether he'll be right or not. It's only time will tell in this instance. There's Aiden Schultz. And speaking of hard charges, up to 6th for Schultzy. Got by
Oh,
Gary
Baker.
Cousins. Tony Baker! Very nicely done. Saw an opportunity to pounce as well.
Oh, no.
And then got himself undone. Oh, no sooner does he pounce on Cousins, and all of a sudden Cousins is looking at the prospect of losing 2 positions in the space of 1 corner. And then Baker just gets a little bit too trigger friendly on the exit, lights him up and points it in the wrong direction. David Baz, the leader here at the moment. Now with Greg Heaney having stopped the second time. So this could get rather interesting in the next short while. Great to have you along for the ride. We're at the famed Road America circuit, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Nice to be able to be with you on a Monday night for Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, Week 5, Night 1, Term 4, 2023, Season 15 for the club. What a season it's been. So server time has us heading towards 5 o'clock. Local server time by the time the race finishes here, because the clock on the right is moving twice as fast as the one on the left. The simulation settings. The track conditions will vary a little bit more throughout the course of 90 minutes because of the fact that we're going 180 minutes in terms of the server time. Just getting a word in my ear from the director as well. The post-race show tonight will need to be a little bit shorter than last week, slightly, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, that was a very long post-race show, but that's...
Yeah. This little prompt I don't see very often. Paul Wood, fastest lap.
2:04.706.
Woodsy having a crack tonight.
A Ferrari. How good. But yeah, actually, the one thing I will say to you, Adam Lavis, is that we had obviously our good mate Glenn Banks last week as well, but we had probably the most participation in a post-race show that we've had for quite a while last Monday night, which is why we were used to after 11 o'clock on a sprint night. That never happens. We were anticipating 11 o'clock tonight because of the fact that it is a 90-minute race, but if we can get out of here any earlier than that, I won't be complaining. Have you been paying attention home and away, waiting for me? Plus the luggage case packed for Perth. Have a look at this. Harry and Australia sitting 30th at the moment. You know, very nicely presented Nikon entry, yes.
Just to show you.
It's a throwback. And I mean, he is well aware, I hope, that the Commentator's Choice Award isn't applicable to GT3, isn't it? Because otherwise that would be it every day of the week. That and who was it at the top end of town? Is it? It's not Dale Sharp. It's Dane Snadden running the just pink yellow livery on the Beamer.
It's more of a neon greenish yellow though.
Yes, true, but that's a beautiful Australian canary gold yellow. Yeah, that's fantastic. David Baz, Braden Lachlan, Paul Wood, Brad Curtin, Dale Sharp, Adam Schultz, Gary Cousins, and also James Franco and Tony Baker, all in the pit lane at the end of lap 22. So 11:11. There you go. 11:11 and 47.5 on the clock. So that halfway buffer has been gone, come and went. We're looking at probably 43 laps, not 44. And that might just help Greg Heaney out, because if he stopped on lap 20, he'll need to go 11 and 12. Oh, okay. Yeah, watch that with interest. He will need to go 11 and 12 on his 2 runs home if it's a 43 lapper. As I suspect it will be.
Well, I guess I was wrong. Woodsy is just in general because he's just filled up and he's with these guys. So, pace tonight. Let's go, Woodsy.
So, what we're anticipating is one more stop from here, yeah?
Let's not jinx him, though.
No, let's not. No, not
yeah,
at all.
Pretty much the guys now, if they've got past this point, they should be able to do one more stop. It's Heaney we're going to be keeping an eye on because he did stop before halfway. So he's going to stretch a little bit this next stint.
Yeah.
But he may also be playing the reverse strategy. Like, he may know he needs to do X amount of laps to get to the end.
Yes. That's it. Oh boy, it's tense. We always get to this point and we wait for the processional phase to come and go. But I just get the feeling that we're going to have action aplenty right throughout the next 2 stints. Because all around the racetrack, there are still battles raging. Baz and O'Loughlin still glued to one another in the battle of a second. Snadden's all over the back of Schroeder on your screen at the moment. We go back to Sean Benetti in 17th place. He's got Neil Gladwin for company in 16th and 17th, I should say. There they are on your screen. Benici down the outside gets by Gladwin, and job done. Grant Gill's got John McHenry for company. Michael Schroeder's all over the back of Dane Snadden. I've already mentioned that one. Sorry, I meant to say Tony Baker and Jermaine Tackle at 12th and 13th. So 5 or 6 battles playing out on your screen at the moment. We don't have a Channel 7 Mega Ball. We'll do our best with the one broadcast feed that we can fire in the living room at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, around the grounds on a Monday night for you, because there was so much happening. 3 for 145 Pakistan after 31 overs in their match against Afghanistan at the Cricket World Cup, the ICC Cricket World Cup. So Pakistan 3 for 145 after 31 overs. Earlier today, New Zealand won Game 4 of the Constellation Cup against the Australians, but the Australians retained the Constellation Cup for more goals scored, the for and against record over the course of the 4 matches. If you can make sense of that, it's very similar to the old international rules.
Oh, no.
Grant Gill's off the road. Grant Gill's off the road. That's unfortunate. And good mate Grant Gill has dropped a few spots. He rejoins in 23rd. And Paul Wood's off the road as well. Paul Wood's off the road too. Oh, Gill got sent. Gilly got sent at the danger point of the track. Catherine leg territory. Catherine leg corner over at the King. And this is what happened to Woodsy. Well, actually, we'll get a second shot at Gill's incident first and then have a look at what happened to Paul Woods.
He's already lost the rear, yeah. He didn't get sent. Just got McLaren.
He didn't get sent at all. It looked like he got sent from the angle that we saw. But he's lost the tail end of the McLaren, and this is what happened to Paul Wood. And Woodsy's just lost the rear going into turn 3 as well. Oh, boy. It's all starting to fall to the proverbial for a couple of our club stalwarts. Marty Mitchell's got back out there in 31st place. William Yarwood 30th. They're both back out on the racetrack, but they're out of the contention here. At Pete Madsen 29th, Nigel Patton 28th. Now Grant Gill 28th with that unscheduled pit stop, and that's made everyone for Grant's back for the rest of the night, unfortunately. Pete Madsen 28th, Nigel Patton 27th, Ariana Stark is 26th at the moment, all over the back of Brett Campbell and getting by Brett Campbell as well. So there it is, Ariana Starkus, the Greek pride and joy of the club in that 25th place. Now up 8 spots from where he started, but running a different strategy to everybody else. Greg Heaney leads David Baz, the margin 7 seconds. Braden O'Loughlin is third. Bradley Curtin, Paul Wood with the fastest run of the race, going back out in pursuit of Bradley at the moment. And we're watching Gary Cousins all over the back of James Frencombe with pressure looming from Tony Baker. And, of course, Frencombe's all over the back of Schultz as well. So if Schultz and Frencombe start engaging in duel here in battle, they might bring Cousins and Baker along for the ride. Actually, no, they won't, because Frencombe's running off the road at turn 14. Free pass for Gary Cousins up into 10th. Baker will go with him. He'll swamp him on the inside. And Frencombe's made a rod for his own back there, instead of potentially latching onto Schultz here and getting the draft, getting the toe, getting the slipstream, and gaining a spot he's lost to. Oh boy. Slowly but surely, mistakes are creeping in, fatigue is kicking in.
Woodsy getting his 4th place back.
And doing it rather swiftly as well, getting by Bradley Curtin. Very nicely done. So Paul Wood back to 4th place. Ferrari 1, 3, 4, and 9 at the moment. Parry's off the road. I've put the marker on him. David White comes to pit lane for another scheduled stop. Of course, with that unscheduled pit stop thrown in there for good measure. So there's a few people already doing an extra pit stop than they would have bargained on doing tonight. There's a few people that are going to be on a 4-stopper or a 5-stopper instead of a 4-stopper or a 3-stopper, and there's going to be those that are running the 3-stop strategy, hoping that they can keep it all together and keep it in one piece and reap the reward as a result. But a pit lane transit's down here crucifies you. So as soon as you make one of those little mistakes, you have to transit the lane an extra time. You've automatically got an invoice to pay, and you've automatically made a Rod line back for the rest of the night. It's a case of going through the motions, playing catch up, working from behind, and it just never ends well. I mean, yes, you will pick up the attrition as it falls around you, but there hasn't been too much of that tonight. This is what happened to Franco. Just run it too wide at 6. Oh, sorry, 8. 10, 8. 6 and 8 are both right-handers, but left-handers, but one's uphill and one's downhill. So Friend coming back in 13th now, an unlucky 13th, you'd say. Paul Wood off the road again. This time loses out to Bradley Curtin and Dale Sharp. And now Woodsy's dropped 2
Same
spots.
spot.
Same corner, same spot. Probably a very similar incident. We'll have a look at the replay in a moment. But now Paul Wood's back in 6th place. So all of a sudden, remember a couple of weeks ago, Adam? Here it is. Oh, did well to save that. Not bad, but it could have been a lot worse. And it's not practical. It's not profitable. Not ideal, but at least he's still out there and factoring in the equation. Under pressure now from Dane Snadden, and Michael Schroeder's not too far away either. Remember a couple of weeks ago when we covered a sprint round here for the AM boys, and we're talking about the battle being between Ferrari and Porsche, and very distinctly different to the pro split where it was between Ferrari and BMW. This time round, Ferrari and Mercedes doing the damage here, because Ferrari are 1, 3, and 6 at the moment. Off goes Warren Ivitt just quietly. And the Mercs are 2, 4, and 5. And the first in the Bimmers is Dane Snadden in 7th. The first in the McLarens is Michael Schroeder in 8th. And the first of the Porsches is Gary Cousins in 10th. So you've got 5 different manufacturers, but 2 of them dominate the top 6.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, the thing I think with the AM split, guys, is it's with them still just like not right on that edge of adhesion. They're still just sort of just finding their way out a little bit. So for some of them, like to get that extra pace is more about being comfortable in the car more than being on the edge with the fast car. So sometimes a little bit more of a comfier car, like the Mercedes, is a little bit more of a lounge chair. You might be able to get a bit more time out just because you're more confident with the car. So because confidence is key as you're learning to find those last few tenths of pace.
Through turn 3 and then the run down the back straight. We go back to Gary Cousins, who's approaching turn 3 now. So the battles, they're still raging out there, but there aren't as many of them as what there were between start and pit stop 1 and pit stop 1 and pit stop 2. This is what happened to Warren Ivitt a few moments ago. Close semi-burn.
That's interesting. So the Porsche and the Ferrari being rear-engined cars, they might just be just overusing their tyres a little bit, just getting a little bit. You might have to move that brake bias forward a bit to just help you on those corner entries. Although Neil's in the Ferrari.
Turn 13. We haven't seen too much in the way of action here tonight. We smashed the curb though, and that'll do it every day of the week. Oh, when you hit concrete around here, it's painful.
So he's probably got his steering's probably not happy. Yeah. So.
Oh boy.
The Ferrari has been fragile, but the bumper bar did fall then, so maybe they did do a bit of an update to it. So it's not paper mache. It might just be a normal car now.
Well, that's slowly but surely the contenders are whittling out, are thinning out. You know, we're seeing drivers. There's been 2 major incidents with car-to-car contact.
The interesting thing is, like the last 15 minutes or so, has been a lot of incidents, and we're still 2 minutes away from that normal finishing spot where the fatigue normally kicks in these Enduros.
Exactly. So that says something about the intensity tonight and the pressure that goes with it. But the interesting thing for mine is that, we've gone from that phase of car-to-car incidents and multi-driver incidents. Now it's just those single isolated ones, but they've been just as big, just as bad. So, I mean, look at look at the order. Marty Mitchell's down in 31st place. Pete Matson 30th. Grant Gill 29th. William Yarwood 28th. David White 27th. And Neil Gladwin 26th. So all those guys have had significant incident tonight. And as a result of that, they have plummeted down the order. The leader is on lap 28. The 31st place car is still on the lead lap, but only... Oh, actually, no. Sorry. No, my apologies. Marty Mitchell is the only car a lap down at the moment. However, Pete Matson and Grant Gill are about to be very shortly if they don't get a wriggle on. So, for all the drama, to still have, of the remaining cars running in the event, 30 of 31 still on the lead lap is quite astonishing. After 59.5 minutes of play, as you say, we're almost at the end of that normal race distance for one of these single race affairs, remembering that we've got 3 different formats in either of the platforms with GSRC, and we'll have some sprint racing for you again in a couple of weeks. We've got a mix of 4 60-minute races, 4 sprint rounds, where we've got a 20-minute followed by a 35, and then, of course, this format for rounds 5 and 10 and 2 90-minute features at 2 of the most famous circuits on iRacing this season, too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Road America and Mount Panorama. We get to Mount Panorama only 13 days, I think it is, after the Bathurst International wraps up. So it'll be fresh in everybody's mind on November 25 or November 27 when we get there for the grand finale of Term 4 2023. And I'm particularly looking forward to the Thursday night of that week as well, because we'll have the Porsche in their usual multi 3-race format and 3 races performing the V2, and they will be well worth the price of admission. Grand final week this season is an absolute ball set. Main straight, another lap gone. That's 28 of them. We're on to 29. Aidan Schultz up inside the top 10 now, up 10 spots from where he started, having a solid run, having an unimpeded run. Kept it clean, showing that qualifying might not always go to plan for him, but he does race well. When he gets a clean run, he's able to hit his markers and tick the boxes. He does get the results. He won't be as far up as he'd like to be, no doubt, remembering, of course, he's already got a race into his name this season, and he's got serious pressure working in the form of Tony Baker, who we're riding on board with at the moment. I think he'll be happy that at least through an hour he's unscathed. Baker had his own incident earlier in the piece, not as sizable as some of the others we've had. That's why he's still sitting there in 10th place, still sitting there in some form of contention at the moment. We've now got 5 Ferraris in the top 10. Cousins and Takaloo have dropped out, so no Porsches in the top 10 at the moment. Cousins and Takaloo the best placed of them. They're only 1.2 seconds off this duo that we're talking about, the 2 Ferraris, Schultz and Baker. Now the only difference here is Takaloo stopped on lap 21, the other 3 on 22. So we're watching with interest when we get to that critical lap number, and we're not too far off it on the clock, as far as I'm concerned. We know full well that 10 laps around here at the pace that these guys are running is about 21 minutes. So you add another, well, what have we got, 6.5 to that. Greg Heaney's just crossed the line at the end of 29, so we're on to lap 30. And he's got there before that 27-minute marker. So there's another 3 on top of the 10, so that's 13. And then we've got a pit lane transit. So we might only go 42 laps tonight. We might not get to 43. It'll be at Heaney's discretion based on his pace. And there's also a question about his fuel as well. But if it's only 42, if he can get 2 11s out of the tank, he'll be okay. But if by some small chance he gets there with 1 or 2 seconds on the clock in overtime, in regular time, and gets the white flag and takes us into overtime, then he's screwed. Based on all the evidence we have before us tonight with regards to pit stops and where they've fallen. Oh boy, don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be well worth the price of admission here the next short while, I promise you. Because there's still so much unknown, so much to play out. And Dale Sharp now has Paul Wood and Dane Snadden for company. A real battle raging here. Back we go to the battle that we were just talking about. Tony Baker gets by Aidan Schultz, moves into 9th, invites Gary Cousins into the fight, but Cousins has lost Takaloo. So there are three-car fights unfolding in the top 10 at the moment. Wood still holds the fastest lap of the race as well, 2:04.7. Carrying Starkus in pit lane. Is he the first to stop last, or is there still another top up to come? Oh, I think it's the end of like 29. Harry, I don't know if that's surely too early for mine. As much as I love the Great Net, and I cannot wait to see him go around in the Sydney 300 again next year, I just feel as though that's a little bit too early. He might have another invoice to pay yet. Greg Heaney's in pit lane though at the end of lap 30, and that is also interesting. That is really interesting. But Greg Heaney's there at the end of lap 30. Oh boy, this is hanging on a thread. Hanging on a thread, ladies and gentlemen. 25 and a quarter minutes. As across the line, O'Loughlin goes with him. We're watching Dale Sharp there in 5th place, following Bradley Curtin through. And Paul Wood's all over the back of Dale Sharp like a cheap suit. Wood had a little look down the inside, couldn't get it done. Sharp covered it off. And is doing a nice job of withstanding the pressure here. Round they go again. Onto the back straight.
So, based on the fuel calculations, the fuel takes about 24.5 minutes of range running flat out, so you can save a bit of time. So 26 minutes is probably doable with a bit of a stretch, but the problem is if they do an extra lap, that's going to stretch out to 28 minutes potentially, so that could be a little bit of a downside for Paz to stop there. Oh, second place there instead.
Uh-oh. 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 David Baz.
I think Braden's got caught up in it too.
5. Oh no, Braden! Had to take evasive action, takes the lead away. That's fine. But David Baz has now lost firmly this time in second place. And now has dropped down and is under serious pressure from Bradley Curtin.
He's fallen back into the head of this group here. He's right in front of Bradley Curtin, so he's now in the big battle for third place.
Just when we needed something to happen to spice things up again. That was rather considerable mistake on that front. Not to his own benefit, of course. Back around we come, 23.5 minutes to go. Braden O'Loughlin finishes lap 31 and it's still not pitting, so it's interesting. There's a bit of zigging and zagging. David Baz goes to pit lane.
Heaney stopped on lap 20 and lap 30, so he's only doing 10 lap stints. Is he going to put himself in trouble here?
We shall wait and see. I think you're right, and I think there's something to be said about the potential trouble looming for Greg Heaney on the fuel front. We'll find out more very shortly, I'm sure. Although that being said, a late race safety car changes everything, but how likely is that? And you would have to. Yeah, I would suggest I'm clutching at straws by even suggesting it because of how clean the race has been, relatively speaking, and how far spread out the field is. I don't see a track blockage happening anytime soon. So Sharp holding on the third. Paul Wood is fourth. So you got Ferraris flanking Mercs in the top four. Ferrari 1 and 4, Merc the middle one, the meat of the sandwich here in second and third. Two Mercs leading a Ferrari in this battle. For second, Tony Baker under pressure from Aidan Schultz and Gary Copeland's 5th, 6th and 7th. Jermaine Tucker with James Franco and Philip Butler make up the top 10. Heaney just outside in 11th, but once the field cleanses, we expect that he will take up front running once more.
So yeah, so Braden O'Loughlin could be in a position to sneaky win here if Greg can't get this home without another stop. Greg's been about six to 6.5 seconds ahead. Probably a little bit more delta now because Braden had a little off-track avoiding incident, so it's probably stretched out to 7 or 8 seconds. But it's going to take a lot longer if Greg has to transit down lane, even just to put 2 seconds of fuel in the car. There's that big transit time because it's a fairly long pit lane here.
Exactly. Braden O'Loughlin continues on at the end of lap 32. However, Bradley Curtin comes to the lane. Sharp and Wood play on. Tony Baker, it'll be interesting to see whether he zigs or zags. There's a fair bit of ebbing and flowing unfolding here because no two cars appear to be on the same strategy at the moment. Jermaine Tacklew comes to pit lane. So we're in that critical number, that critical lap phase. But there's a fair bit of fluctuation. Oh, here we go. Paul Wood down the inside. Of Dale Sharp.
Oh, he's off through again.
Oh, third time's a charm, and Paul Wood goes round and completes the hat trick. Much to his frustration. Oh boy.
He's actually called this one in too, so you might be thought you got squeezed here. Close, but I don't know if it's quite a squeeze.
Oh boy. Jermaine Tackle with the pit lane, Bradley Curtin now. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because we see it every week. Every time we get that critical number of the earliest you can stop and the latest you can stop, there's always a degree of strategy and gamesmanship unfolding. We're seeing that now. 20 minutes on the clock. Lap 33 is in the book. By my numbers, that means we'll have 10 laps to go.
Anyone who pits now is definitely good to get home. So.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry, my apologies. By my numbers, it'll be 9 laps to go next time by the line. If they've still got a pit stop to complete, which they do. Here comes Warren Ibert, Dale Sharp, Tony Baker, Aidan Schultz, Gary Cousins, James Frencone, Paul Wood, Philip Butler, Braden O'Loughlin, still yet to complete that third stop. So too Brett Campbell. But the top 10, the top 8 rather, more specifically, are the ones that we're worried about. We'll wait for them to come around this time by. Tony Baker running third at the moment, and fending off Aidan Schultz and Gary Cousins. So yeah, you're right, Adam, as Braden comes in. 9 laps to go by my numbers, roughly. And O'Loughlin ensuring that as he comes to pit lane. If they're running 2:05, that's 18 minutes and 40 seconds. 45 seconds, rather.
So what's going to be interesting is for you, calculating for the work
the
just
9
to make
laps.
sure, is you're going to have to base it off both where Braden is and where Greg is in case they can run it, which one makes it.
Yeah, yep. So Greg Heaney's going to come up onto the main straight now with 9 in 9th position. He's going to come across the line and take us. Well, he's nowhere near the line just yet, so I don't even think he's a concern at this point.
He's coming up the hill now.
18 and a half minutes to go. So yeah, it's 9 laps. It's 9 laps from here. Heaney across the line, 9 to go. 2 minutes 5, even 2 minutes 4. 2 minutes 4 would be 18:36. 2 minutes 5 is 18:45. So we're inside 9 laps to go. So we're only going 42 laps. We're only going 42 laps. But it's a matter of whether Heaney can make it, and we know that O'Loughlin will. This race is far from done, ladies and gentlemen. Baz is third, Sharp now to fourth, Snadden, Baker, Cousins. Actually make that Curtin, Baker, Curtin, Schroeder, Baker, then Cousins, Schultz, Frencone, and then potentially Jermaine Tackle, yes, ahead of Paul Wood and Philip Butler, the top 14, and Sean Benici 15. Gary Cousins under pressure here from Aidan Schultz. 9th and 10th. Will Schultz make a lunge? Or is he happy to sit there and bide his time and wait for his moment? He had a look, but he thought better of it. 17 minutes to go. And I feel as though I could finally take a breath. Oh, safety license point penalty for Paul Wood. Great contact with Dale Sharp on lap 33. And yet, Wood was the one that came off second best. That's a double blow for Paul Wood. That adds insult to injury. Dan Snadden, 5th at the moment. That's a great run from the BMW. Best placed in the field right now. Make it 4th as he gets by Dale Sharp. If we can have a look at that, please, Adam Lavis. There it is. The change of hands, 4th and 5th. Dane Snadden's got up into 4th. The Bimmer's on a charge. But the problem for him is exactly the same as what it is for Greg Heaney. Can he go the distance? Can he make it to the final lap, to lap 42? Because he too stopped on lap 30. Anyone that stopped lap 31, 32, 33, provided they can go 11 laps, we believe they're okay. Those that stopped on 31. 32, you've got to go 10 laps. We don't think that's a concern, and therefore, obviously, neither is 9! There goes Dane Snadden into the wall! Now it matters very little. Snadden has come on down at turn 1, the first time we've seen any sort of real drama there tonight, and that car is going nowhere but the back of the garage. The BMW, after such a good run, its night is done. Let's have a look at this again. Oh, it's all come up, unstuck and gone horribly wrong, terribly wrong. Unfortunately so for Dane Snadden, because he'd had a solid run until then. He's trying to cut it back to pit lane. Let's watch the back end go out from under in mid-corner, and from there he was a passenger who was never going to be able to recover it. Oh boy. Another sting in the tail. And he was the best placed BMW by a country mile up until that point.
He still is.
And he still is, but he's no longer in the top 10. He's now buried in 14th. Limping that car back to pit lane. And now that quashes the concerns we had about fuel, because he can take another couple of litres here as well while he's getting the car repaired. And Greg Heaney is in again as well. And that ruins that. It is Braden O'Loughlin's race to lose now. Greg Heaney is on pit road. Greg Heaney aware of the fact that he might not make it on fuel, and he is now conceding defeat. It'll be interesting to see what he can salvage from here, knowing full well that it's a case of what might have been, and it's a chance gone begging. O'Loughlin the leader, Paz to second. Dale Sharp is going to go to third here up around the outside, but he's still under pressure from Curtin. Baker and Schroeder embroiled in a duel here. Have a look at this. Schroeder, this is for the last spot in the top 5, all over the back of Baker. These two are, well, hang on. The same question has to be asked about Michael Schroeder as well. Our last pit stop from him on our timing screen, the clock says that he stopped on lap 30.
And then,
so he's got the same concern as Heaney and the same concern that Snadden had prior to that.
it's also like everyone from 14th back.
Yep.
A whole
boy.
bunch of them from 14th back. And Dane Snadden isn't getting his repairs done.
There's the 3 stoppers and there's the 4 stoppers. It's essentially what this race comes down to. There he goes. Christian Koch doing a little bit of rally. Oh boy. So Sharpie, he's sitting nicely. He's got Curtin for company. We've got 3 Mercs, 2, 3 and 4. They're so far off the rear of O'Loughlin, it's not funny. It's 6.8 the margin first to second. It's then another 8 1/4 seconds back to third. Who's got 4th clipping at his heels, nipping at the tail of the car at the moment. So we've got a real duke on a real duke out battle on our hands here for the final spot on the podium. Baker in the Ferrari, the second best place for the Ferraris at the moment, has both Gary Cousins in the Porsche and Michael Schroeder in the McLaren. There for company. Now, I want to know your thoughts on this, Adam. 12 minutes ago, 6 laps. O'Loughlin's just started 37. We know that we're only going 40. Can Schroeder save some fuel in the draft and just sit there until the last lap and keep Tony Baker company?
Can be done. He just needs to be smart about it. The thing with the McLaren, it's got the biggest fuel tank, but it's also the fastest car. So it can be a little bit more margin to fuel save because of that situation.
Especially on a track as long as this as well. Saw it at the Circuit de la Sarthe, didn't we? The previous outing there. long tracks, thirsty
I-
cars.
I just find it interesting, even from the season 1 of GSRC when it came here in GT3s, it's always been a fuel issue. Like that season 1 race, it was the first time we had it was at least 5+ cars that didn't make the finish line on the last lap because they were running out of juice. And then season 3 or 4, we had the two Denchi and somebody else fighting for the lead, both crossing the line coughing.
Yep. Damon Woods featured in one of those grandstand finishes as well, didn't he? Going later. Jeez, we've had some good races here and some good conclusions here as well. And you just get the feeling that another one's looming tonight. In the battle for third, Dale Sharp, beautiful job. So loyal to BMW, has made the switch to Mercedes for season 4 of 2023. And so far he's being rewarded. GT3 delivering the goods to bright America. I apologise too, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. The old mic stand's gone a little bit wobbly. Just need to straighten it up, so the mic's actually not leaning on a slope. Greg Heaney there in 9th place. What might have been for Greg Heaney. And he's all over the back of Aiden Schultz in the battle for 8th right now. And they're 3 seconds off Gary Cousins. So we've got a question over Schroeder, and we've got a question over everyone outside the top 10. Benici, McHenry, Heinrich, Koch, Spencer, Johnson. No, Johnson's okay, sorry. And Yarwood. They're all the ones we've got a question on, but obviously in Yarwood's case, he's had bigger problems than fuel tonight with that monster shunt at this point of the racetrack in the run between turn 3 and 4. So, but if you want to factor in the results, as Greg King would have liked to, you've got to have your numbers right. You've got to do your sums right and your homework, mathematically speaking. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem as though he has tonight. We'll find out more post-race, I'm sure. But in the meantime, Gary Cousins down the inside to 6th. And that's getting the better of Michael Schroeder.
I'm sure Schroeder knows the situation. He's probably they can no longer clutch in the GT3s, but they can still lift and coast. So the iRacing was a little bit it's a bit controversial, but they took away a lot of the fuel toys. So they took away your clutch, even though that's so you can still use it in the real world. But they also took away the fuel maps, so you can't even use the fuel maps anymore just to save a bit of fuel. So it's basically all you've got at your disposal is the old lift and closed, and using that to your advantage.
Oh boy, we are inside the final 10 minutes here, ladies and gentlemen. We're inside the final 10% of the night. As far as racing on track is concerned, we've got obviously the post-race show still to come. But right now, we are watching Greg Heaney trying to salvage something.
Oh, he's
down the inside, he's in trouble! He's just barely hung on to that. How, I don't know. He had a huge run down the inside, on the grass and all, and somehow pulled it up without making contact on Aiden Schultz. Schultz, he holds on to 8, but what a moment for the pair of them. There'll be a little bit of brown attached to the colour of the underwear that they're wearing at the moment, I would imagine, afterwards. Have a look at it. Oh, grass pulled it up with the strip. And Schultz on the outside. Hello, how you going? I'm going to take that spot back. Oh boy. It is all happening here. This is James Francone in at 11th spot at the moment. They're only 1.2 seconds behind, 2 seconds behind Paul Wood, who's holding on to the last spot of the top 10. So at the moment, Jermaine Tackler goes by. Jermaine Tackler up the outside and gets by. Consumer these on James Francone. So Tackler to 11th. Second best place to the Porsches. You've got Ferraris, 1st, 5th, 8th, 9th, 10th at the moment. You've got a McLaren in 7th. You've got Merckx in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And you've got a Porsche in 6th place as far as the top 10 is concerned. Earlier tonight, we had all 5 manufacturers in the field inside that top 10. We don't anymore on the back of the Dane Snowden incident. He's come out actually in front of Ryan Wooden, the other BMW runner inside the top 20. They are 19th and 20th respectively. And we are inside 4 laps to go. 3 to go at the line. Braden O'Loughlin, the leader. And the race has kind of fallen into his lap rather nicely, hasn't it, Adam Lavis? He was 4th in a 4-horse fight at the start of the night. David Baz, he's managed to get the better of him. He's managed to get the better of David White, who got caught up in the incident with David Baz. And now, obviously, Greg Heaney's come unstuck with strategy, but he's having a serious go here and a serious fight with Aiden Schultz. Tried the inside last time at Canada, that didn't work. He tried the outside that time, it didn't work either. But now he's got to get across and try and cover off Paul Wood as well. A 3-way fight for 8th, 9th and 10th with 3 laps to go. And David Baz punches out the fastest number of the night of 2:04.518. Jeez, the Hollywood numbers are falling late in a piece here. But yes, for O'Loughlin, he's kept his nose clean. He's stayed out of trouble. He's watched David White come unstuck with David Baz. He's watched Greg Heaney bring himself under with strategy play. He was 4th at the start of the night, or he's 2nd on the grid, but he was 4th early in the piece. And all of a sudden, he's leading with a couple of laps to go, and he's got a 4.5-second advantage. It has been a relatively smooth night at the office, and a night that everything that had to go right for him and wrong for everybody else has happened that way. And it's a night where he's kind of flown under the radar, minded his own business, kept it clean, and is about to reap the reward. Hayden Schultz now under pressure from Paul Wood, who's got by Greg Heaney. And Heaney has slipped 10th in this fight. So all of a sudden, Schultz go at defence here to hold on to 8th. Christian Koch comes to pit lane. Christian Koch can't make it home without a little bit of a top up. A little bit of extra juice. Anyone that has to stop that 4th time is really making a rod for their own back here. But it's such a difficult game to get that strategy right, keep the markers numerically speaking, and know how much fuel you're going to need and how much fuel you're going to burn and run to those numbers all night long. That's the difference. Those that have been able to do it have only stopped 3 times. They're going to get home on that. Those that haven't, an extra invoice. And that's the difference in the contest. Up onto the main straight. Schultz goes immediately across the inside to defend to try and cover off Paul Wood. The hard charging, fast finishing Paul Wood was up in the top 5 earlier. 3 spins have sent him plummet back down into this battle in the lower half of the top 10, 8th, 9th and 10th. He's made light work at Greg Heaney. He's on the outside of Aiden Schultz. Schultz forces him a little bit wider and holds on to 8th for the moment, but then yields on the inside on the run down to 2 and 3. And now Paul Wood finds himself in 8th. Well, that was impressive. The best in the business. Going hammer and tong for 8th, 9th and 10th. Braden O'Loughlin next time by will see the white flag. Will bring us home for lap 42 of this 90-minute enduro. I stress the word enduro in relation in context to the other races that we bring you on a Monday night. This is not an enduro in GT circles by usual standards, so Adam Lavis.
I don't think it's over yet. The last 2 laps, Braden's done a high 5 and a low 6, whereas Baz has done 2 mid to high 4s. So he is on the charge. If Braden makes any mistake, he's going to be in trouble.
The margin's crept down to 3.2 as well, so that's well picked up. A white flag will be in the air as they come by the line. We will do roughly, I'd say 45 seconds potentially of overtime here. As they come across the line, O'Loughlin up onto the main straight. Here we go. White flag in the air with 1:35 on the clock. So we're going to do about half a minute of overtime. David Baz is second, and 3.3 the margin. That time around a 2:05.3, so he's only a tenth of a second faster than O'Loughlin that time around. Have a look at this. Bradley Curtin's managed to eke away from Dale Sharp, but Sharpie's under pressure for the final spot. The final positions in the top 5. Tony Baker down on the inside. Tony looking for 4th on the inside of Sharp and gets it. Sharp then had to immediately get across and try and cover off Gary Cousins and did so. Did so nicely. 4th, 5th and 6th not decided yet. Nor is 7th and 8th. Nor is 9th and 10th. Schroeder's trying to limp home on the smell of an oily rag, but he's got Paul Wood for company now as well. There are 3 positional battles playing out inside the top 10 after 90 minutes of play at Road America. How good is this track when it comes to GSRC racing? Schroeder's lost out to Wood. Wood gets into 7th. It might not all be over yet either. Schroeder's under tremendous pressure. He's in all sorts of trouble because here come Aidan Schultz. Schultz, keep it on the black stuff, son. He's 9th at the moment. He could be 8th by the end of it. He's got Greg Heaney there as well.
Gary's got Dale as well.
And Gary Cousins. Oh, boy. Dale Sharp losing out late in the piece here. Wide on the exit of 5. And it opened the door beautifully for Cousins, who wasn't waiting for another invitation. Time was against him. He forced Sharp out a little bit wider than he would have liked. And ended up getting through. Into 5th. The Porsche in the top 5. We haven't seen that much tonight. And look at this. Braden O'Loughlin's about to come to the main straight and take the checkered flag. We will show that to you, don't worry. There he is now. Ferrari on top. The prancing horse continues to dominate. GT3 and with thanks to waste options. Braden O'Loughlin, the survival of the fittest, and he gets the job done in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Second to David Baz, who fought hard and fought right to the death. But it was to no avail. Oh, there goes Schroeder. Schroeder's slipping. Schroeder's gone. Schroeder's not going to make it to the finish line. Curtin finishes 3rd. Baker holds off Cousins and Sharp. Wood gets up into 7th. Schultz will hold off Heaney in the battle for 8th. And Jermaine Takaloo will come through and claim a place in the top 10. 2 Porsches in the 10 as Michael Schroeder grinds to a halt and won't make the checkered flag.
That hill's not
12 laps was always going to be a tough ask. Is there a good sport waiting still yet to finish the race that might just gentlemanly push Schroeder up the hill? We'll wait and see. Or it'll be Grant Gillies, McLaren stablemate. We'll wait, I don't know.
He's in a bit of a battle, so.
Oh, yeah, it won't be. Gillies otherwise preoccupied. Well, there you go. That was good stuff. That didn't disappoint. Good decision to take the AM feed tonight, Adam Lavis. They certainly turned it on. Great racing. Great night at the office. 23 past 10 Eastern Daylight Time. We'll do our best to get you out of here no later than 11 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. That would work for me because then I can go and watch maybe they're paying attention. But I don't know. Great racing. Great entertainment. We enjoyed it. We hope you did as well. David Baz, the fastest driver of the race. We saw Ferraris 1, 4, 7, 8 and 9. So 5 of them in the top 10, 3 Mercs and 2 Porsches. McLaren and BMW miss out. With that war of attrition at the end, James Frencone come home 11th. Phil Butler, Sean Benici, Dane Snadden, Ryan Wooden made up the top 15. Adam Johnson, John McHenry.
Grant didn't quite
Wow, bloody wow. That was for 20th, I might add, ladies and gentlemen, 20th and 21st. Philip Butler ended up 12th, Benici 13th. Adam Johnson was 16th, McHenry 17th. Gladwin got back to 18th despite the invoice he had to pay earlier in the piece after that heavy contact on the extra 13. Warren Ibert and Brett Campbell made up the top 20. Beyond that, we had 26 cars finish on the league lap. Parry ended up a lap down, as did Nigel Patton. Christian Koch is actually going to finish a lap down in 29th place. So we're going to have 29 finishes. or 30 finishes actually. Marty Mitchell also took the checkered flag, albeit a lap down. So we had 30 finishes. Michael Schroeder will get classified, but it will be 26th by virtue of the fact that he's parked there rather disappointedly.
It's this guy. It's a bit rude. There's a couple of guys going in the pit lane.
Yep. And rather dejected, rather gutted, and deflated after everything that's
Here he
happened.
comes. Stan's going.
Here we go. Snadden's about to give him a tremendous belt up the backside if he doesn't pull up. There we go. Now we're pushing to the line. Well done, James Snadden. Great sportsmanship from him after finishing 14th to the light. And that will be Michael Schroeder being pushed up the hill, hopefully, to the checkered flag. The process is taking a while to kick start, I might add. We're right on board with this. We'll see if
he's ready for the brake lights to go off.
Oh, no. Turn the brake lights off, Michael. Earth to Michael, are you there? Turn the brake lights off, son. We can't push you whilst you got the handbrakes on. Oh, dear. The anchors. You've got to get the anchors off. And Snadden, if he waits too much longer, will run out of fuel himself. It doesn't matter because he's already taken the checkered flag. So, yes, Snadden's like, I've already given you enough time. I'm not waiting around. See you later. Thanks for that. Oh, dear. We tried. We really tried. Braden O'Loughlin and Greg Henry are here standing by to have a chat to us, and I'm particularly glad that we got Greg here because I do want to pick his brain on something in just a moment. Braden O'Loughlin, of course, the race winner, very nicely done. And 2.1 the margin in the end. As I said, 4 different manufacturers in the top 10. 3 different manufacturers in the top 10. The first of the McLarens was 13th. The first of the Bimmers 14th. Very lonely beyond that. We had 33 start and 30 come home, which is not bad given some of the incidents we saw out there tonight. We've not got much time here on the post-race show tonight because Adam Lavis has got an early start tomorrow morning and I don't want to hold him up any more than I have to because last week's post-race show was long enough. Some of you are still probably recovering from that. Braden, I'll get to you with no disrespect in just a moment because we want to talk about the race win in the second half of the season, but I have to start with you, Greg Heaney, because I'm struggling to work out where it went wrong, mate, because it didn't look like you missed a beat all night until you may or may not have got your mathematics wrong.
Fuel strategy, and I need to work on fuel saving.
Okay. So all things fuel related.
Yeah, all things fuel related.
Oh no.
Tyres were fine. I knew I would have had to take tyres at one point, so I took them on the second stop.
Yep.
Because I did some testing, and I knew after one stint I was going to be asking a lot of the front left. After 2 stints, I knew it was going to be hurting, so it was just a case of, well, take them on the second stop and see what I end up with. And then, come the third stop, and it's like, right, I'm not going to make an extra lap, so I'm stopping. And I ended up about 9 litres short on fuel. But hell, it is what it is.
It is indeed, mate. I mean, it must be disappointing that a couple of small little issues like that. I mean, fuel saving not necessarily a huge problem around here because there were so many people that were able to get 11 laps out of their stints, and you only had to get 2 11s and 2 10s to make it work. But the problem was, as soon as you got to lap 30 in a 42 lap situation, we knew that 12 was going to be, as Michael Schroeder proved a few moments ago, a bridge too far. In saying that, though, you had the pace to net the result, and in the end, after a cracking late race scrap with the likes of Paul Wood and Aidan Schultz, you still come away with the top 10, but it goes down as a chance or a case of what might have been.
Yes, very much so. I mean, look, live and learn. Maybe shift a little bit earlier, a little bit more often, and I might save some more fuel. Great racing with Aidan in the end there. I may have probably scared the crap out of him a couple of times going for a dive. And, but I mean, hell, you got to go for it. And I think I maybe got a netcode contact for a 0X at one point, but it was good fun in the end. I was getting lonely out front.
Oh, you would have been, absolutely. So in the end, you've well and truly got your value for money tonight by going and playing with the boys a little bit further down the order, but not the championship points you needed. In saying that, though, the Ferraris seem to be the car to have in both the Pro and the AM split at the moment, mate.
Oh, most definitely. As I think Denchi said it a few times, it's a little bit unstable in the back end, but you can work around it. So, I mean, I've managed to figure it out so far.
Indeed. Now, if we can bring up the calendar for the next half of the season, please, Adam Lavis. Let's just pick Greg's brain on this, because Interlagos next week, I'm chomping at the bit to get off the plane from Perth and come back and commentate that one. Don't worry. Circuit de Lebanon in France is the new unknown entity there. Then Fuji, Watkins Glen, Mount Panorama circuits we're all very familiar with, but we've got 2 sprint rounds, 2 60-minute races, and a 90-minute to look forward to, mate. Talk me through that. Obviously, the longer races might be a little bit of a concern for you, but those sprint rounds, one of them's on a circuit that's an unknown entity.
Well, very much so. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Interlagos. I haven't turned a lap around Lebanon yet. But yeah, the last 3 rounds, very comfortable with those tracks. So we'll see how we go.
Indeed. Now, with regards to the state of play in the championship, mate, I mean, we were having a look at the point situation at the start of the evening, and I probably won't be able to do it now because I know Adam Lavis will be busily chipping away at the points matrix here. But coming into the round, you were only 20 points behind Jermaine Takalu, who's finished just behind you there in 10th. Michael Schroeder, of course, we saw what happened to him, pulled up with nowhere to go, no help. So you've covered that off. You're only 3 points behind him. But this championship is well and truly alive, given that the top 5 were separated by only 32 points coming into this round.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is my 3rd season with GSR now, and I'm just happy to be scrapping with the faster guys in the split. And yeah, I mean, as we discussed last week, watch this space. We'll see how long it takes me to get up to the pro split.
Yeah, exactly right. If you continue at the pace you showed earlier in the night, I don't think it'll be a problem. It'll be a matter of when, not if, and you'll probably take David Baz with you, actually. The only 2 or 3 in the 4s tonight, Gary Cousins, Paul Wood also netted a 4, so Jermaine as well. So anyone that netted a 4 tonight might be treading lightly over the next couple of weeks, because they'll be right on the bubble, I reckon. But I mean, apart from the fuel situation, mate, everything else appeared to go pretty well for you.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, as I said, I think I think I've got a very heavy right boot, and was asking a lot of the car. But apart from the fuel, everything was fine. So, yeah.
And what's the key to success in the second half of the season now, given that it's as tight as it is? And what's for you, what would it mean to get the job done here and tick the box in a car that has become the word, the vast majority of choice from the club ranks here? I mean, there's a lot of love for Porsche and BMW as well, but the Ferrari seems to be the flavour of the month. What would it mean to you to tick the boxes in the second half of the season and lift the number 1?
Oh, I'd love to, but we'll see how it comes out in the end. At this point in time, I'm on track to finish higher than where I did last year. So, I mean, if I can finish in the top 3, that's a tick in the box for me.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Would love to stay in chat. I'm not going to, because
that's cool.
I'm on
plenty of others waiting.
Well, I was going to say there's that, and I'm also on a curfew tonight as well, because we're going to be out here a little bit earlier than usual, because our fearless leader has an early start. So thank you for that. Well done, and congratulations again on a top 10 finish. Unfortunately, it could have been a podium, but onwards and upwards for the rest of the campaign, mate. Go well.
Very much. Thanks, Zach.
And on the subject of people that have nabbed a win already this season, but weren't right at the pointy end tonight, I want to bring in my commentary colleague here on the platform for GSRC, Aidan Schultz, and say good evening to you, mate, because I mean, we know as well as anyone that consistency is what wins championships. It's not always the W's unless your name's Matt Dench. We'll get to him in just a moment. But the reality of the situation is that you two were in the thick of that fight right towards the end there. A couple of hairy skirmishes with Greg firing it down the inside, firing it up the outside, trying to find a way past you. But great stoic defence from you, mate. The only one that got by was Paul Wood.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I tell you what, I need a heart lung machine after that one. That was fun. I tell you what. Oh, I tell you what, the old baseline set does it once again.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, for the benefit of those that are new members to the GSRC viewing audience, when there is the ability to tinker and you're rocking up and achieving what you're achieving with baseline, I mean, that says something about your skill set. But there's obviously clearly a game plan in place here, or a reason at least, as to why it is the straight baseline setup, mate.
Mate, not really. I don't have access to a setup, so I've just got to run. I've just got to run.
So it's not a time management issue. It's basically that you don't have the intel.
Well, I do have access to VRS and stuff through some of my teammates, but I don't do any practice, man. I literally come out of leading the championship in the Super 3, where you saw how that ended, and then jumped on with 20 minutes left in, I think, practice or qualifying to do in this, and just ran around. So the whole goal tonight was just to circulate and see where we ended up. And obviously, the longer you do laps and the more laps you do, the better you get. And I tell you what, that fight with Greg at the end there was pretty intense.
I was going to say, we're all breathing a sigh of relief after how frantic and frenetic and chaotic the Super 2 and Super 3 races were. We were somewhat very glad to see that it was a relatively clean race in GT3, and I'm sure you were as well, mate. Talk to me about, because I mentioned it was one of the talking points on commentary that you did quickly transfer from the supercar into the GT3 split. That might have hamstrung your ability to qualify the car. Talk me through how quick, the change in mindset, the change in plan of attack when you go from a supercar to a GT3 car for one, and then a race that's rip tear rush bust over 25 minutes to one that's run over an hour and a half.
Yeah, well, Supercar 1 is one I'd rather forget, because I had a ripper start up into 6th, and we all saw what happened there. But into this one, I didn't even really qualify with low fuel or anything. I just put the baseline set in on full fuel and just started where I started, and knew it was 90 minutes of racing. There's a long way to go, and you got to be there at the end, and tried to utilise the pit strategy and keep the fuel in. We saw that a couple of guys at the end of the race might not have done that as well, so probably wasn't quick enough. I was only in the 5s the majority of the time, maybe 6s. Wasn't quick enough to be where I was, but it just goes to show consistency, and we got there. And that racing at the end was amazing, mate. That was really fun.
And not just fun, entertaining and amazing, as you say, but so clean and respectful as well for the most part. I mean, obviously, Greg had a couple of moments, but you were aware to it, you were alert to it, and that was probably a contributing factor to why we didn't see car-to-car contact and you two end up in the dirt there at Canada.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, that's what Gentlemen Sim Racing Club's all about, and the top guys, even in the AM split, and let alone being able to one day hopefully be in the pro split if I get a setup one day. Mate, it just goes to show the quality in the GSRC streams. Obviously, the Super 3 wasn't what we wanted tonight, then leading the championship and then taking out lap 1. But hey, we all come back, we have a run, and hopefully that was some great racing, because after 90 minutes of racing, to have all the cars, apart from the guys at the front that sort of took off into the distance, and big congratulations to Braden and all the guys who got on the podium. But it was great racing, and it was good to come down to that after 90 minutes. I wish it wouldn't have, because I was absolutely exhausted, but it did, and hopefully it created some good stream there for you.
It certainly did. We were on the edge of our seat from first until last, mate. It was a great night at the office. There wasn't really too much time that was spent going through the processional grind of the race, because there was always a battle on the track, and that's the sort of entertainment we want. And a not so subtle as a sledgehammer sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge hint drop from you about wanting someone to get in touch about non-baseline setups, I might add, mate. So well played on that. Now, second half of the season, how do you go about attacking that now that the first half is in the can?
Look, at the end of the day, it's just going to be about consistency. We're not going to be in a fight for the championship. We did have a good run at Laguna Seca, as you mentioned before, where we got a race win and third, I think, in the feature. That was good, again, on a baseline set. So, look, at the end of the day, we're just happy running around, getting some solid results. We'll see where it ends up at the end of the season. Not really looking at the points. I was more looking at the points in the Super 3, which I'm devoted about. But
yep, and understandable.
But yeah, we've also got the up and comers that we're doing as well, and I'm up there with that one as well. So yeah, I don't really have anything to say to that, man. We're just going to keep running around, try and get some solid results. The results will be what they'll be, and we'll see where we end up at the end of the season.
In Lagos next Monday night. Cannot wait for that. Is it a track that agrees with you? Is it a track that you like?
Mate, European style tracks for me. You know that.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully. But I'll probably go in again with about 20 minutes of practice on a baseline set, because I'll be doing the Super 3s beforehand as well. So I'm also doing 12 hours a day at the moment. So I don't really have time to get behind the wheel. So just happy to be able to circulate and to be able to have some great racing, mate. So we'll see where we end up and what'll be. All
right, mate. Well, I won't hold you up anymore on that note, because you'll have plenty of time to talk and banter with Daniel Correa, all things racing and everything else in the GSRC on Wednesday night for Downforce Legends, and also the GT4s for Orbit Australia. And we wish you well with that. I wish I could tune in, but I don't think I've got in-flight Wi-Fi on my flight to Perth on Wednesday, so I'll have to touch base with it after the fact, mate. But thanks for stopping on by tonight. Look forward to hearing you guys shoot the breeze on Wednesday.
No, thank you, mate, and thanks for making it possible and broadcasting. Looking forward to bringing the GT4s to the Gentleman Sim Racing Club stream. It's been great racing so far. Of course, if it's anything like we saw tonight, it's going to be great on Wednesday night as well, mate. So thank you.
There he is, Aidan Schultz. Very nicely done, mate. Thank you. And of course, before we move on to the post-race show here, I want to go quickly around the grounds. Pakistan in a fight against Afghanistan at the moment. And only 5 overs left in this innings. We're talking about the 22nd match. The 22nd match, as the great Richie Benno would have said, of the ICC Cricket World Cup. 5 for 221 with 5 overs to bat and 5 wickets in hand. Afghanistan will chase whatever Pakistan set them, and if they can pull off the same sort of similar heroics that we saw lead to them beating England, and they are going to be all of a sudden the cat amongst the pigeons in the Cricket World Cup. Right, let's continue the post-race show here and bring in Braden O'Loughlin at this point in time, and then we'll get to Matty Dench and Paul Wood, and I'm really looking forward to chatting to Woodsy as well for several reasons, not least, of course, the case of which might have been had he not had a Ferrari wanting to go out from under him on 3 consecutive occasions at that very corner that's on your screen at the moment. But Braden, welcome into you, mate. Ferrari on top, and as I said towards the back end of the call, you were somewhat the quiet achiever tonight, despite the front race start and working early to stay in the train with the likes of David Baz and David White and also Greg Heaney. Their demise, Baz and White coming together, White dropping down the order, Heaney going short on fuel. It all just fell in you up rather nicely, mate. So congratulations.
Thanks so much, mate. Really stoked, over the moon. also pragmatic about the result. I do have to go and find a lotto shop in the morning and buy 1 or 3 tickets. Yeah, don't get me wrong, over the moon with the result. I think it is my first win in the gentlemen's league. I started with the league 3 years ago and then had a bit of a break and then come back in the last 3 seasons, having a ball, but never won a race in the league. So yeah, stoked to finally get across the line and get one.
How hard is it to go away and then come back? I mean, I have this conversation with people all the time about juggling motorsport schedules, and I know people that are trying to do less but end up doing more. It's hard to walk away because when it's your blood, sweat, and tears, it's kind of like going from being a coffee addict to going cold turkey. It's got that similar sort of vibe to it. It's a very hard thing to do. So when you go away from the club and then you come back, firstly, was it personal circumstances, work commitments, or whatever that took you away? And then obviously the follow-up question to that is what brought you back?
No, don't get me wrong. I've raced probably every day of the year for the last 3 years. I just went away from the club for a little while, and it was nothing to do with the club. It was just that when I first started up the team, we had probably more of a supercar-based team.
Yep.
And we were racing a lot of the supercar league with you guys. And then as the sort of team dynamic changed, we've probably headed more towards a GT and a prototype team. We've still got supercar drivers, so we went in a different direction. But now having Sean and myself, and as of last round, we recruited Jermaine Takalu into our team, so he's part of our team now. It's good having the 3 of us there all working together, and we can work together each week and work to get better.
Interesting comments, because obviously we're seeing somewhat of a resurgence in our V8 ranks at the moment as well. So, but the GTs have been the proven performer for the longest time for this club. And it's as competitive as it's ever been. It's always nice from a commentary standpoint to rock up here not knowing what to expect. From a competitor standpoint, does that excite you or does it make you nervous?
Oh, definitely. And I've had some okay results this season, and I've had some absolute shockers. I think I even missed a round. I was on travel. Yep. So yeah, I mean, I was stoked to actually come away with a decent result tonight, and not I didn't expect it really. Road America's always one of my stronger tracks. I do well here. I had a couple of wins in the officials during the week, and with the Ferrari as well. So I'm normally a Porsche driver.
Yep.
And stepped away from the Porsche this week. I actually decided to run the Ferrari 20 minutes before the server went up. Yeah. And did some practice laps today, and I just couldn't get it through the kink without looping it. So I thought, no, I'll take the penalty hit on the points and race something that I know I'm going to finish the race with. And so it was great to actually have that gamble pay off.
That's interesting that you say that you're normally loyal to the Porsche, but we know its troubles. So how'd you find the adjustment, jumping in behind the wheel of the Ferrari, and how long did it take you to get your head around that?
So I've done the Ferrari all of this week, but hadn't raced it until this week. So had bought it, painted it, and hadn't raced it at all. So did all the officials this week at Le Mans and here at Road America in the Ferrari, and it was awesome at both tracks. I'll probably go back to the Porsche next week because I can't keep on taking penalty hits like that.
No, that's right. That's true. But that one paid off.
To go well at Interlagos. I don't particularly like the track, but I've done okay with the Porsche there before, so I'll shoot back to the Porsche next week. But it definitely paid off tonight. It was quick there. I was hoping to get pole. I was really pushing to get a pole off Greg, and I was on for I think it was a 2:03.4 in the last qualifying lap, and mucked up the last corner. So I was quite surprised with the pace. I was sort of like in the 2:05 range most of the week, and then just changed setup in quali tonight, and then found the pace. So it was good.
Nice to see persistence and perseverance pay off, and on the subject of that, normally 9 times out of 10 sitting around and being patient pays off for Matt Dench because we have a chance to interview him, but he shot through. So it's just Braden and Paul to go, and then we wrap up for the night. But we will have the results from the pros book for you in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Let me finish with the Amboys here. As far as you mentioned, Jermaine, the rest of the crew, not a straightforward night for Jermaine, but rewarded with the top 10 in the end.
Yeah, that's right. He did well to get into the top 10. He had a incident early on which he was a bit gutted about, but sort of fought back for a P10. Also, Sean was looking pretty good early on and had a bit of trouble with a penalty mid-race, so he was a bit gutted with that as well. So and they're both up the pointy end of the points, whereas I don't think I am. I'm sort of in mid-table. So so they had a few incidents, but they fought back well. We never give up.
And now with that result in the bag, and obviously the half points that go with the penalty of switching manufacturers, how do you go about approaching the rest of the season? I mean, we've got sprint races, we've got 2 60-minute races, we've got 2 90-minute race. One 90-minute race to go. Can you take the success, the momentum, the confidence from this result and apply it to the Porsche and build towards a championship assault?
Yeah, really hoping to. As I said, Interlagos hasn't been kind to me in the past, but I'll see how we go there. Lebanon, I've never turned a lap there yet. But Fuji and Watkins are definitely favourites of mine, so especially Watkins, probably one of my favourite tracks on the server. So hopefully we can get a bit of momentum and keep the good results coming, because there have been a few average ones.
Indeed, there have been, mate. But hey, you've got a W. A couple of things had to fall into your lap, but for that to happen, you also had to hit your markers and not make a mistake or not get caught up in somebody else's garbage throughout the course of the night. So to stay out of trouble, to keep your nose clean, and then to pocket the reward, as you say, first win in the club. You've been here and gone and come back again over the course of 3 years. So great to see that you finally made it to the top step of the summit, mate. Well done to you, well done to the team. Go and celebrate that one, and we look forward to catching up with you next week.
Thanks, mate. And I want to say unlucky to Greg. He checked out early. He had gone. There was no way we were catching him. And then David and the two Davids, Baz and White, with their incident, it was unlucky. But like you say, you just got to keep it on the track and keep trucking. And sometimes it falls in your lap, sometimes it doesn't.
That's exactly right. Tonight you were the lucky recipient as a result of all of that, all of those going-ons around you. But hey, you got to take the lucky breaks when you can get them, right?
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, mate, well done. Look forward to seeing it in Interlagos.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll move at this point in time to the guy that had the fastest start the race to his name for so long, until very late in the piece when David Baz came and said, no, I'll have that thanks. And that's Paul Wood, of course. Woody, great to have you on board. I mean, a case of what might have been for you as well, mate, because we're just hearing from Braden talk about the loose rear end of the Porsche. Unfortunately, the looseness found its way into your Ferrari as well. 3 times. Turn 3 was your Achilles heel, and that's probably what led you to falling back into the clutches of the likes of Aidan Schultz and Greg Heaney towards the end of the night. A chance at a top 5 really unfortunately went begging there. Gary Cousins and Dale Sharp too far up the road after all of that. But all in all, a solid result considering that you started well outside the top 10.
Yeah, the Bailey Ladders Ferrari was sort of on pace a bit tonight. I was happy with the race pace of the car. Wasn't happy for qualifying, but the race was one of those ones of what could have been. But yeah, that I think the mistake I made, I changed tyres, and I really think I shouldn't have. It sort of broke my rhythm, and I started to push just 1 lap too early, and that was what caused the first spin. And then after that, I'd overheated the tyres, and then I pushed again, and that corner just kept getting me. And I think it's I couldn't go on the ripple strip. If I got anywhere near the ripple strip, it just unstable the car. But it was that weird, I don't know what you call it, quirk of the car that I've been experiencing the whole season, where it has this little twitch, and once it goes, it's very hard to pull it back. But yeah, it caught me a few times. So a race of what could have been. I think potentially, I felt like I was on the run, could have possibly had a win. But what could have been is not what happened, unfortunately. A couple of incidents in the race. The first one that happened, I didn't even realise I'd touched the guy beside me. I thought I'd actually cleared him, but went back and watched the replay, and I just rubbed the back corner of his bumper as I went through, and unfortunately he bumped the car in front of him. But yeah, the last one with Dale, yeah, it was unfortunate one. It's I was hoping for a little bit more racing room, but unfortunately the room disappeared, and yeah, there was a bit of contact, and unfortunately I spun, so I dropped all the way back down. But yeah, it was a hard-fought battle.
Indeed it was, mate, but it was a good battle to watch as well. I mean, particularly in the closing stages there. I think poor old Aidan Schultz was too worried about Greg Heady, and that made the task of getting by them just a little bit easier for you.
Yes, yeah, the battles at times helped me a little bit, because once I could get in the draft of them, the Ferrari tonight was really had some straight line pace, which was helping me quite a lot to make the moves. So that was good. So whenever I saw guys fighting, I'm like, yep, keep fighting. That'll help me. And yeah, just trying to tick them off the list as I went. And yeah, I was going really well, like I said in the beginning of the race. But then yeah, it just all sort of fell apart just after the halfway mark, and the pit stop after the tyre change. I think I could have survived actually on one set, because they weren't wearing too much, but I thought I had it there. They would have been changed in the pit stop, so I thought, let's do it. But yeah, once again, what could have been? What do you do?
Exactly right. Hey, halfway through the season, 5 down, 5 to go. How's it looking for you, and what are you most looking forward to about what's ahead, and trying to cement a result here?
For me, just a little more consistency. Still making too many mistakes for my liking, and that's, I think, what's killing me with my results. But yeah, I'll just keep fighting on, try and keep working on the car. I think I'm slowly starting to figure out little quirks with it. Again, just that one in the back end, I just can't seem to figure out how to stop that. But it's more, I think, just my inputs are not helping, so I'm trying to work on those as well. So like everything, just keep working on it, try to improve, and hope that the results will start to flow in my favour a bit more.
All right, mate, very nicely done. And of course, the Bailey Ladders stable right at home on a Monday night, aren't they? Because we saw. I was going to say, well done, Nick Fodiatis. He's got you well trained too, by the way, because the opening sentence is there's always the plug for Bailey's. Well done. That's Nick who's initiated that. I'm going to put my money on that. But yeah, the boys quickly jumped from the supercars into the GTs, and as we said earlier, that presents a unique sort of a challenge, doesn't it?
Oh yes, very different cars to drive, and when I jumped into this one, the setup was not very good at all. So I think I got in, there was only like 20 minutes left of quali, and I was trying to set a lap as well as try and figure some stuff out on the car, as well as make some changes, get out and get a chance to actually test them, because it takes a couple of laps for the tyres to come up the temp. So it was sort of a hectic start, but I made a couple of changes that worked. Once I settled into the race, the pace sort of came to me, and I thought I was talking to Gaz, and partway through the race, I'm like, the car's really feeling good, and then tyre change, and it all went downhill from there. And then I got frustrated and started to push too hard.
Yeah, it's all good until you get frustrated. Trust me, I know. I left here at 1:45 on Saturday with a 4 3/4 hour drive ahead of me to go from Cessnock to Orange, of course, Central West New South Wales, Central Tablelands. And unfortunately for me, I was frustrated after 10 minutes.
Yeah, you got to love the traffic these days.
You're following people that don't understand that the cops won't book you if you're doing 100 in a 100 zone. Like
Yes.
Absolutely atrocious. But I made up for it on the run home, because it was pitch black, 1 o'clock in the morning, no one on the road. So I think I cut my losses a second time around. I think that's the trick. As long as you can buy some luck and avoid the roadkill, nighttime travel.
Yeah, I was going to say the deer and the kangaroos are what you don't want to meet.
Exactly right. Hey, Paul, thanks for stopping on by, mate. We've got to put a full stop on this and wrap it up, but we appreciate it as always. We thank you for sticking around, and good luck for the rest of the season.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.
Interlagos next week, then that new French circuit the week after, ladies and gentlemen. And then we start to work our way back towards familiar territory, with Mount Panorama bringing the curtain down on the campaign in Term 4 of 2023. Adam Lavis, if we've got some pro results there, we might as well have a look at that. Denchi was here, but he saw his opportunity to get out before I got to him. And we will remind you once again that, yes, as per usual, as standard procedure, as we call it, the benchmark does what he does best and gets the job done again, and does so after leading 43 laps. He led every lap. He led every lap. They got one more out of their race than what we got out of ours in the end, and Matty Dench, clinical. 8 seconds, nearly 9 to the good of Simon Cox, Richard Mitchum, Wayne Hewitt, Jared Knight, the top 5. Knighty having a far better run than he had in Orange yesterday. And Nick Wood, Thomas Martin, Rob Hill, and Sam Chapman, with Russ Green also having a better run, rounding out the top 10. Knighty and Greeny were teaming up yesterday, and unfortunately it went tits up at about the 5.5 hour mark. It's a 6 hour race for them. But as I said, when we drop the chat on the Forest KA socials tomorrow, you'll see what we're talking about there. Interesting to note as well, 2:03.07 for the fastest lap from Dench, and that's a second and a half up the road on the best of the times from the AM split tonight, 2:04.518. So Dench again, and just clinical, and has yet another finger on title number 8. We do this each Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever we want to bloody well be on air, essentially, ladies and gentlemen, with thanks to the great people at Waste Options, Orbic Australia, the newest sponsor, of course, in Sprayton Cider down there, Pure Tasmanian, the great people at Login Systems, more on that in a moment. Player One Sim Gear, they're getting their value for dollar at the moment. The support of the supercars, the fair income, the racing's there has been terrific. Not so terrific tonight, but the Destruction Derby will look just as good on the highlight reel. Don't worry about that. Leipzig Racing, of course, the great man Trent Lavis, excited to be getting back in the rig at some point as well, I'm sure. M-Wave and Flash Graphics. Now, a little bit of housekeeping for you. I'm not here Thursday night. Not sure who's taking my place at the moment. I assume it'll probably be Mr. G. Gill or somebody else unlucky enough to be drawing the short straw. Hello, Adam Lavis. You might be able to help me out here.
Yeah, at the moment, the current plan is Callum Heinrich is going to step up and do the Formula V's. Then Grant will step back into the Porsches.
All right. Good luck, Callum. Difficult task commentating Formula V. You could not have picked a more difficult starting point than that, because we know what the action is like there more times than not. GSRC, GT3 and Hypercar Endurance Championship continues, not this weekend, next weekend. Road Atlanta, the venue, and that'll be for 6 hours. Sunday, November 5. Liam Banks and Sam Chapman with you for that one. They, of course, then head on to the Nürburgring 3 weeks later, and 3 weeks after that, we're off to Circuit de la Sarthe in Le Mans, France for 6 hours for 2, and that'll be the full 24-hour cycle, because the clock will be moving 4 times as fast as it does in the real world, to give you that full transitional experience from day to night and day again in a 6-hour period rather than a 24, for the sake of all concern. And as far as the rest of the suite of the schedule and suite of racing is concerned for you, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at what's coming your way on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. And we do it with thanks to the up-and-comers, with thanks to Leipzig Racing. First up tomorrow night, the Toyota 86s from Willow Springs, and that's a super sprint format there. Race 1, 7:55 Eastern Daylight Time. Unlike last week, we're not on broadcast next week. This week for Tuesday nights, I should say. GT1, the Civil War follows from Summit Point. Geez, good luck there. That's fraught with danger from the outset, isn't it? Fast cars, tight, twisty mongrel of a racetrack. Excellent. Summit Point from 9:40 Eastern Daylight Time, a 35-minute sprint race there. Wednesday night, the boys are back with you, Daniel and Aiden, from Circuit Park Zolder for the Downforce Legends first up, and that's 2 sprint races from 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Whilst I'm on the plane to Perth, Willow Springs will follow for a sprint race format round of the Orbic Australia GT4 Challenge. Formula V Thursday night. I'm disappointed that I'm missing this, but the trade-off is a one-way ticket to Christmas in Perth and the Hyundai XL Nationals. But it's Formula V from Barber Motorsport Park, of course, getting things underway Three sprint races there, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time, followed by a 40-minute sprint race for the Motorland Aragon round of the Porsche Cup. And that's with thanks to the newest people there at Sprayton, the Pure Tasmanian cider, and they will be the naming rights sponsor of the Porsches going forward on Thursday nights in general, actually, ladies and gentlemen. So they're sponsored by Formula V and Porsches that picked the best night of the week there, as far as I'm concerned. A 40-minute race for the Porsches, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Friday night, the IndyCars. Oh, sorry, I can't say IndyCar on the the Road to Indy Series. Those open wheelers that aren't Formula One cars, but yeah, anyway. Okayama, the venue, a 45-lap race there, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Saturday night, the Mountain Men's and the Skip Barbers. Yes, we're going open wheel racing around the mountain, ladies and gentlemen. Race start 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time, 32 laps of the journey there. And next Monday night, straight off the plane from Perth, in the booth for the Circuit Park Zolder round. The start of the second half of the term, ladies and gentlemen. Week 6, night 1, turn 4. And we'll be heading to Circuit Park Zolder, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time for the Super 2 series. But this time next week, we'll actually still be bringing the Super 3. So we'll get back to Super 2 in a couple of weeks. Super 3 next week. And if it's anything like tonight, well worth the price of admission. Not so much from a Demigville standpoint as an entertainment standpoint. Interlagos then follows for the M round of the GT3 series. And that's a 60-minute race there as opposed to the sprint rounds that was held there in recent times. I'm looking forward to that immensely. So that's with thanks to Waste Options, Player One Sim Gear, of course, for the supercars. And we're just about done. Don't forget, race.tgsrci for all of your merch, all of your club sign-up requirements, documentation, etc. and so forth. And merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com for all the merch that the club has ready to sell on to you and ready to give away to get the brand, to get the message out there. But as David Johnson said earlier, I think we're here for a while yet, given the ongoing popularity and presence the club enjoys. Still thriving 3 years after we started, despite the world getting back to normal. We hope you enjoyed it. A great Monday night as per usual. Thanks to Adam Lavis for his work in the booth with me tonight, as well as producing all the vision and sound that you've seen throughout the course of the show. It's been a good night. We've enjoyed it immensely. We hope you have as well. You wouldn't be disappointed with what you've seen, because the supercars delivered all sorts of carnage and chaos and excitement. And then we got some great racecraft and sportsmanship in GT3, and that's what we've come to expect on a Monday night. The first enduro of the season is done. One's still to come. It's 5 weeks away. It's Mount Panorama at Bathurst. Look forward to your company next Monday night. The boys will steer the ship for the rest of the week while I'm off for the Circuit XL Nationals in Perth. If you're in WA and want to get out to carco.com.au raceway throughout the course of the weekend, I hope to see you there. But for now, from the Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin Virtual Road America, where we've seen some great racing across all servers, Super 2, Super 3, and of course our GT3 M Pro splits as well. Braden O'Loughlin getting the job done, albeit for half the points, because he's traded the Porsche in for one night only in a race full of drama and excitement. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you, and we look forward to your company again throughout the course of the remainder of Week 5 of Term 4 of 2023 across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. But for now, on behalf of Adam Lavis and all the crew, I'm Zach Caden. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye for now.